Just one big joke. It's a fucked up world. Here we are in. I ain't going nowhere.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Reason Reborn, episode number 27. It's funny because I got in trouble for plugging the show on the other show, which currently is uploading at the time of this recording. She was mad at me for mentioning it. By the way, she still thinks you did it.
I did what? Oh.
It.
I mean, we can all think what we want, I guess. I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah.
People always blame me for everything.
Because you have an innocent face, and they don't trust innocent face people. That's the problem.
Probably shouldn't.
This is very true. So, I kind of tried to pare down as many stories because there was a couple of things when I sent you the list of what we could talk about that I could talk about. I don't know if you want to touch them in brief. One being Macron's visit to Washington, D.C. and how he played like he was nice and then he eviscerated the United States government and Trump in his speech.
Who did this?
Macron, the president of France, Emmanuel Macron.
Oh, I thought it was Macron.
Oh, is it Macron? It may be Macron. I'm probably saying it wrong. Sorry. Trump's boy crush, who Trump seems to have loved to death. But I'm sure now he's regretting the love that he showed this man because, first of all, the man did the excellent troll of giving him a tree to grow because got to protect that environment. You know, trees are good for the climate. That whole thing that's a myth. And then, of course, he, played nice, holding Trump's hand. Have you seen that picture? It's the weirdest picture I've ever seen.
It's not weird. It's beautiful. It's two men in love.
But it's like
why
you're
some kind
of
leading? Homophobe or something.
Why are you leading? No, it's just like, why are you leading this person like he's your date?
That's what it was, a date.
Like, weird.
Wives were there to chaperone just in case things got a little too frisky, but I think we all know it was a date. And it was adorable. On Macron's side. On Trump's side, it's a little creepy, but...
No, actually, it's not even a date on Macron's side because clearly he was just making sure he was buttering this guy up so he can fucking put a nail in him, which is what he did. When he gave a speech where he discussed climate control, he discussed the disappointment that the world has in the United States and the role that they're playing right now in different global issues and how we need to step up and be more part of a global, society and to work more, work better with each other and all of that. He basically, it's pretty much anything that Trump's against doing, he railed on. But Trump's so stupid, he didn't realize that because afterwards he commented about how great of a person Macron is and how they're friends and all that. It's like, dude, did you just not did he blow your mind with sex or something? Because he clearly just told you about yourself for over an hour in front of Congress and in front of the world on TV in your own country.
Yeah, we need to get this fucker out of here. Don't let this motherfucker come back. I mean, you can't come up in here and lecture the president in front of Congress. What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get cute. Can't have France over here walking into the country and lecturing us. The fuck? Unacceptable.
Yeah, and it's just it kind of makes you funny if you go through the historical thing where it's like France pretty much has been the country that we've bailed out a couple of times. But now it's looking like Macron is being put in a position where now that Merkel in Germany is having her political battles, and England's went batshit insane with their fight between their libertarian and conservative parties and all of that. France might finally step up and be that big world leader that they've always wanted to be after so many years of getting stepped on, being that country that got squashed in the beginning of damn near every global war or any international conflict.
I remember, some time ago I had referenced this video he'd done. I can't remember when it was, but it must have been during this whole Trump debacle, at least. And he was, inviting scientists over there, saying, we respect science, essentially, which in effect meant America didn't, which, given our stance or lack thereof on climate change, fair enough. But even ever since then, I was like, I agree with this motherfucker, but shut up. Don't do that. Disrespectful. I know we got problems, but you don't get to do that. It's like, when you have a family member fucking up, like, you can say that. But this other stranger can't come in here talking shit about your family member.
Right, exactly.
Not that I want to acknowledge Trump as family, but you get my point. It's like, it's one thing for us as Americans to be criticizing this guy, but it's a little uncomfortable when France walks in and is like, yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, seriously, it's France. Like, seriously, I mean, no disrespect, French people. Again, your historical position when it comes to global matters, it's been kind of scary. Like, good on you for helping and bailing us out in the American Revolution. But since then, France has taken considerable L's when it comes to hell. You're part of the reason that Vietnam ended up the way it was, because you guys went over there and you colonized it, and then they bucked, and then you got your ass kicked there and left. And then, of course, we were stupid enough to think that we can go and fix your problems. But that's neither here nor there. You got your ass kicked first. You're always getting your ass kicked first. What's wrong with you?
But no, I mean, jokes aside, he can do that. I mean, a lot of people tend to think, only people within a country can say shit about that country or its culture, its people, or whatever. He's free to make his criticisms, which are true and accurate largely. And I did want to point out that I was joking in case, I say some shit about Netanyahu or some shit, and then they're like, but you just said you can only criticize your own leaders. I was fucking around.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like I can say shit about him or make fun of Macron or talk about Kim Jong-un's shifting stances on things. So on. But yeah, hopping back to Trump's reaction, though, I think this goes back to what everybody says about this fucking guy, which is if you can flatter him, you're in, and that's about it. I don't think he really cares about the substance of any ideas being put forward. If it seems like you like him and you're friends and buddy, then that's it. I think people are I think the other leaders recognize that. That's why Macron can get away with, playing grab ass with that motherfucker and then talking shit the next. Same reason Moon over there said this fucker deserves I think the Nobel Peace Prize is what he recommended.
Yeah, that's a good segue because that's another quick take I want to get on. The president of South Korea made a statement where he thinks that Donald Trump should get nominated or should win, the Nobel Peace Prize for the situation that's going on with the negotiations and the proposal of the official end of the Korean War between North Korea and South Korea. When I was reading, I was laughing my ass off because one, it was like, peace for what? The man who threatened Kim Jong-un, calling him Rocket Man, talking about he has a big, nice, hot, and lethal surprise for him. And Trump gets extra sexual with his fucking threats when you think about it, because it's like, dude, are you gonna fuck him in the ass, or are you trying to say you're gonna bomb him? What the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus.
There's no difference.
I honestly believe that's how he views sex. It's just like a war, warfare. It's just yeah. That's why he said to grab him in the pussy thing. I really believe that now. But yeah, it's like, peace for what? He didn't negotiate anything. He didn't do anything. They were doing this. They were working on this, for a while now. We pretty much now see that Olympics thing didn't come out of nowhere that we think.
Well, Trump doesn't think that. Trump took credit for that. So
exactly.
I vividly remember him saying that wouldn't have been a success without him. So.
Yeah, and nothing to fucking do with him at all. But okay, sure. That's why I was saying to you earlier when we were talking about that this week, how I think in part it's like you said, how with Macron and the whole playing nice and all that, holding hands and blah 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 blah, and then setting up for the kill. I think this is another situation where these people are buttering him up, getting on his good side, and then when they come to the table and negotiate things, Trump's going to fall over his face to please them because they're feeding his ego, and it's the easiest way to get something out of somebody who's that fragile when it comes to their ego.
Sure,
build them up enough, and you could slip damn near anything in there, and I really feel like that's what's going to happen with these negotiations. You're going to end up having the United States agreeing to something that nowhere in their right minds they should agree to. But if it can bring it to an end, this whole thing, and it can make Trump have a W in his column, he'll do that fucking shit. And the consequences won't be, evident to him, but it'll be evident to everybody else, and it'll be felt by everybody else.
I think one consequence is this idea that, and I don't know how long lasting this is, but this idea that the other world leaders can manipulate ours so openly and boldly. I'll give Moon a pass. North Korea is an existential risk to South Korea. They're right there. Obviously, given that name, you can probably tell they're pretty close geographically.
Right.
And they could bomb the living fuck out of Seoul and any other areas in South Korea. So I acknowledge that Moon is particularly motivated and with good reason to try to push this peace shit no matter what. Yeah. It's a little less forgiving with the Macron thing. Because one, he did it, but then he just boldly went up right in front of this fucking guy, like you said, in front of Congress, and pretty much reamed him there, and Trump did not seem to notice, which, one, it shows the mental prowess of other world leaders over ours, but two, I think it proves the point that he really just cares about you being on his good side. He doesn't care about any of these ideas, even the stupid and hateful ones he keeps putting out. I don't think he really cares about that shit in general. He's not that tied to those ideas, other than they play well. Some of them play well with his base, but other than that, he doesn't give a shit about that stuff. It's all about the interpersonal domination for him.
Yeah, and that's the sad part. It's all about him trying to win. Again, he treats everything, not just sex, like a battlefield. He's fucking gotta have this weird sense of victory over everything. When it's not let's do what's the best for everybody. It's no, I gotta be on top. Dude.
Definitely. As far as him having credit for this whole North Korea thing, it's a bit much. If you want to be charitable, you could say, they had sanctions that were upheld with North Korea that were at least a factor, but it's not like America is the only reason North Korea is coming to play here. The rest of the world participated in this as well. So the way he keeps taking credit for all this, he is the sole reason that this is happening, is ridiculous. Just plain and simple, it's ridiculous. It completely ignores the role anybody else in the world had in doing this. It ignores the danger he was putting us in with his mouth. Because people say, he was talking all crazy and threatening them and all this shit, but obviously his strategy worked, right? No, because I highly doubt that North Korea is coming to the table on this because of those threats. It's because of the other shit that actually matters, like the sanctions. So this notion that his tough talk was really the reason for all this is just stupid. It wasn't.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
I feel like we're getting to wherever we're getting. And, North Korea could still be full of shit on this, I guess. I don't know where this is going, hopefully in a good place. But assuming that they are genuine in this, I would say that we got there in spite of Trump's tough talk, not because of it.
Yeah, I honestly think it's a combination of South Korea trying to work as hard as they can to protect themselves. On top of, I would say China would be a better deciding factor than us, because what China does as far as sanctions and things, remember, they're allied, and China provides a lot of resources, and China's probably we don't like the motherfuckers either, but they owe us a lot of money, and they draw on a lot of our resources to get by as far as like, manufacturing things like that. And we don't really need you to continually keep spitting all this venom towards the United States and doing all this dumb stuff. So if you don't act right, you're probably going to need to find another ally and worry about what happens when you do think you're big and tough and ready to jump, because we're not going to leap with you. And I think that's probably the biggest part of it. I think China has probably been kind of nudging them to the table, along with the fact that I'm pretty sure like they can't afford to keep the pace that they are with the nuclear program and maintain the country the way they are, with all these sanctions being drawn up every time they do things.
It's certainly not like the strongest economy in the world.
Yeah, I honestly think that he's like Un is realizing that, look, it's better to just play sort of nice, and if we want to go back to that, wait until we're secure. It makes a lot more sense for them, for their survival economically, and again, this ain't no video game. This ain't gonna be like the remake of what's the name of that movie? Gosh, I forget, Red Dawn. Believe it or not, North Korea is not that tough and not that stable financially to like set off that type of invasion. If we're China, okay, I'd be with you, but no.
I mean, I believe he is saying that part of the reason they're willing to slow down on this nuclear shit is because he's already achieved his goal of being able to mount a strike if need be, so he feels more comfortable. I don't know how legitimate that is, but putting it out there is at least the reason I've heard talked about.
Yeah.
As a opposing point to this. Because the argument I made was just that the rest of the world kind of pressured them into this. I don't think that's the way he's at least describing it to his own people, so may as well put that out there. But yeah.
No, he has to frame it to look good.
Sure, but I do want to acknowledge that they are at least saying that, and that has been a conversation, and not just ignore that it is at least an idea out there in the world.
Yeah.
I don't put much weight on it, but
it's funny because I buy his reasoning more than I would buy our president's reasoning as to why this is happening. You know what I mean? Because I mean, it could be, yeah. I mean, in truth, they've did enough ballistic tests to know that they have the capability, and they are on the right path at least to getting to be able to launch a strike on the West Coast if need be. So he's not lying.
So yeah, this is a dark question, but if they had attacked South Korea, I wonder what the president's response would be. I mean, we would be compelled, to assist them in that fight, but
it would have been stupid. He would have asked for the biggest and most far-reaching and most devastating reaction. He would have framed it to where we would have looked like the monsters, because he would have dropped a bomb on them. May not have been a nuclear bomb, but he would have dropped a significant bomb and took out civilian population just to bad, because that's the way he thinks.
I was actually thinking the opposite. I was thinking that he would demand South Korea pay up something to help or something like that. Because he's always in it for himself in some way. So the way I see him interacting with the rest of the world is, you want something from us? Where's our shit? You want us to come help you fight North Korea? How about a few $1 trillion or whatever? You know what I mean? I see him less likely to defend our allies as he should be. And the reason I say that is, when you look at Moon being so motivated to get this problem out of the way, I'm sure, this is speculation on my part, but I'm sure it might make him uncomfortable to realize that Trump is at the helm should they get attacked. And he probably cannot trust in Trump to back you up as a proper ally the way previous presidents hopefully would have.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I mean, I just think that his ego would demand him to do something big, because he's talked so much shit that he would have to do something over the top. I think after that you'll see him let South Korea get their ass whipped for a while. But I feel like he would just not, you know what I mean? He has to do the gesture of the show. He has to put on the show first.
It's interesting that you and I are on the pretty much opposite side of the spectrum here about what we think his reaction would be, and neither one of them is good.
No, that's the sad part. Like, neither one of us are coming up with those like reaction that at least gives him the benefit of the doubt, or would be a more suitable or sensible reaction. No, we think he probably would either ransom them or he'd fuck them over worse by doing major destruction, having the UN get involved in humanity against the United States, while North Korea rallies behind that and rolls the fuck over South Korea.
And I'm sure the global stage here, the UN's probably not super excited with us, the way he keeps pulling us out of shit and talking about, global unity, the way his rhetoric is. I'm sure their tolerance for our shit is growing increasingly thin.
Yeah, I'm glad they're going to this road of peace, because I seriously don't think that if we actually did end up getting involved with North Korea, any type of combat, I don't know if I foresee any type of unilateral global support. Like with the Syrian strikes, you had France and England jumping on board, but I don't see them saying, yeah, we'll aid you in this. No, I honestly see everybody like, whoa, this is between you and your friend and him. We're just going to sit here, and then maybe if it becomes like a humanitarian issue, the UN will jump in and try to like deter some sides. But
in fairness to the Syria thing, I think most nations agree that shit is a problem.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe not Russia as much, but it's fairly unilateral there where most countries stand on that problem. So it was understandable that they joined us, but I don't expect that type of behavior all the time.
Yeah, because I honestly think, looking back on things, we always get this rant about how no president ever done anything about North Korea. I honestly think that they kind of have when you think about it, because, again, this isn't the most economically stable country, and you had up until now, someone we assumed to be a complete madman leading them that was slowly kind of like dwindling them down into poverty and like making their dependence on China, like to the point where China kind of almost to the point got to where they could control that country. And I think those things are what's leading to this peace, because he's looking at the landscape and it's like, I've fucked up by putting out these bombs and putting out these threats. The repercussions from, not caring what the United States say, but the repercussion from the rest of the world is going to be costly, and it's costing our, economy and our society. And it's like, what? I need to like take another approach to this for my country to survive financially. It has nothing to do with being scared of Trump, I don't think. And that's the thing. I really believe Trump is sitting there thinking, yeah, I bullied him and I did whatever else because this is what we need to do, was talk tough and they do what we want. No, they need a solution to other problems. You're not the one. They got the solution to you because they've been building bombs, clearly.
Sure. But I bring that up because the idea that this tough talk isn't what is getting us there. Other stuff is, because I'm sure, he's saying it. I'm sure some of his fans are saying it. See, his bullshit works, and it's legitimizing the type of behavior he tends to indulge in. And it will seem legitimate to a lot of people. I see even people who don't agree thinking like, well, it's crazy, but I guess it's working. No. And you shouldn't attribute it to that, because you're making a dire mistake here. If you continue to credit this, people will think that it's fucking okay, and it's not, and it wasn't working. That's not the reason that this is happening. Assuming again that this isn't bullshit, because it's not like I shouldn't, shit talk North Korea, but let's see how it goes. Is essentially the way I'll put that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this whole negotiation. I just fear for what's going to happen when he gets to the negotiation table. That's my biggest problem.
So I was hoping when everybody was talking about this meeting, that the idea of him being there was purely figurative. Because I kept thinking about him sitting here, and I'm like, it feels like a parody. Like, it can't be real. He's gonna be sitting at the fucking table here, trying to act like an adult. I mean, we're gonna be talking about, the possibility of denuclearization and all this shit and cutting down on violence and all that. And he's going to be here trying to sell it like a business deal or something. Like he's trying to sell a used car.
Yeah, and that's going to be the biggest problem. He's going to be trying to push this thing. Yeah, I can't see him having much to say in this conversation. And I hope they don't allow him to speak much.
Yeah, I was about to say, if he doesn't have much to say, it's probably a good thing. I mean, if he has something, for some reason, totally brilliant to say, fuck it. I'm not just being unfair here, but he does concern me when he talks. What does it mean when the president says words, I don't know. I don't remember who said that back in the day, but it always stuck with me. Because, yeah, what the fuck does he mean? Every time he says something, it's totally crazy.
That's the very sad part, is that we weren't even this worried with Bush, and we all thought Bush was an idiot. That's the thing that bothers me the most, is that for the most part, everybody liked to frame Bush as an idiot, but we weren't afraid of having him at the big boy table.
Well, he didn't run his mouth like a complete lunatic all the time, right? So, well, first of all, I don't know that it was fair to call him just that stupid all the time.
It wasn't. In hindsight, it wasn't. It was like he honestly got that label off of a handful of moments in his life.
Yes.
It's like, okay.
Like little grammar mistakes and...
It's funny because I was listening to J. Cole Role Models today, and, he puts that part of him in his speech where he tries to do the "fool me once" line. And it's just like stuff like that. It's like, yeah, stuff like that. You're just like, God, you're an idiot. But it's like, even somebody who probably wasn't like that adept on the policies, at least he knew how to handle himself when it came to that stuff. So,
yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people think that he just looks so much better by comparison because Trump is here, but I mean, I would hope as time marched forward, we would let go of some of that shit toward him, because I don't think all of it was fair. I don't think he was perfect, but some of that was just, like you said, like some of it was just based on some key, not most flattering moments that had happened with him. It's not like he was just, it's certainly not like he was Trump just wandering around spouting off like a drunk toddler or something. You never know what the fuck he's talking about. It wasn't anything close to that, so.
Yeah, and it's like, even though he had some bad policies, there were thoughts behind them. It wasn't whims. It wasn't just him blustering. It's like, I want a goddamn wall. Like, he at least built the case towards. It was like the Gulf War thing. He at least built a case towards going out after Saddam.
I mean, maybe that was the problem. He was too stupid to think of the wall. I'm just saying. Bush thought of the wall, and now he's making America great. So,
whatever. So, speaking of Trump, he went on Fox News earlier this week. Let's get into the big stuff. And if there's something else small, I'll talk about it. But
Trump's hands. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that was an easy layup. I agree. So Trump went on Fox News and had a discussion with the guys, because they're his friends. He loves Fox. They do a great job. Best news in the world.
So I wish you wouldn't call it a discussion.
Well, no, because it was a straight up rant. They tried to have a discussion, and then they realized, oh my God, this dude just called in here to gripe.
Thank you.
And then it just went out of hand. And while I didn't watch all of it, I heard some of it. I was told, like, if you watched it, you could see the look of fear and terror on the Fox News correspondents. And, like, you could actually hear them trying to say, well, we know you're a busy man, President. You got to go. And he actually told them, no, I can talk to you guys forever. I love you guys, and kept going. It was like they were kind of trying to get him off his rant because they could see, like, oh shit, you're fucking up. Stop, shut up. But they didn't know how to tell him to shut up because he's the president. And they kiss his ass so much that wouldn't look good for their ratings to their viewers if they tried to shut the president up for real. So it was like you kind of had to let him go.
With him, right?
Huh?
It probably wouldn't be good for their relationship with him if they'd done that. They want to keep on his good side, if only so that they can keep him on coming back at other points for their own ratings. So I'm sure they had their own monetary interest in not being too forceful with their shut the fuck ups.
Yeah, but he clearly he felt comfortable enough to just lay down so much shit that he implicated himself in the whole Stormy Daniels situation, where he admitted, like, yeah, he had Cohen handle some small stuff and he was involved and things like that, which Cohen has been denying ever doing anything for the president directly, like having conversations. He was like, he decided to do it out of the kindness of his heart to give this woman $130,000 to shut the fuck up after she fucked the president. Now the president is like, yeah, I worked with them on that. And then the federal courts issued an injunction in which they allow now the FBI to look into certain matters, since Trump said it wasn't a big deal and it wasn't anything that involving that much. So they were like, oh, well, not a big deal. Then it's fine for us to go look at this, especially since you just tied it into part of his files. Since this guy isn't really your lawyer, but now all of a sudden he's your lawyer who does small things for you. Well, let's look at those small things that he's doing for you, shall we?
Words have consequences. A lesson it seems he will never learn, but they certainly do. I'm sure Cohen is learning that indirectly, that words have consequences, because he's suffering Trump's words.
Which confuses me as to why Giuliani would want to reintroduce himself back into this phrase. Like, dude, you saw him bury several lawyers and just bury another lawyer who's under federal indictment. Do you want to represent someone like that? Like, shit, he's going to get you disbarred if you're not careful, and you're not even a practicing lawyer anymore.
He's not practicing, so what the fuck?
Yeah, he's gonna get him to the bar, but he's gonna get disbarred though. Watch, like, shit.
I mean, if you're retired or whatever, you're not working, it might be worth the risk. Fuck it, gamble. Like, if you could somehow get the president out of this shit, then it'll be like that icing on the cake of your career. If not, fuck it, you weren't practicing anyway. So
then either he's clearly not a good lawyer, or he's clearly just in it for a paycheck as long as he can get it. Because why would you even step your foot in it? No other law firm, no reputable law firm, I should say, in this country will work with that man.
No.
He's got bottom basement lawyers.
He's got.
Why would you want to set yourself?
Lawyers, sir. He's got the best. You're an asshole. He hires the best people, and everybody wants to work for him.
Guarantee you, he was up 3 a.m. watching Fox News and some local, like, commercial, like one of those, like, you got misophonia or asbestos in your house, call this law firm. Like, commercial.
I mean, if they're on TV, they're probably very good, right? Not everybody gets to be on TV. So.
Yeah, okay. But it's just like, dude, could you shut up? And it's like, well, if you're not a fan of Trump, this is the greatest thing in the world for you. But as someone who's not a fan of Trump, but who tries to be fair and logical, I gotta say, this dude needs to just shut the fuck up and stop burying himself. It would be so much better if he would stop fucking burying himself with his mouth. Like, I don't know why he doesn't understand. Like, why can't he comprehend that?
I mean, I've said it before, and I think we've certainly talked about this before. A lot of the firestorms he finds himself in is for no other reason than he can't shut the fuck up. It's not like something happens to him, he normally goes out of his way to say some ridiculous shit that ends up being like the news cycle for a couple of days to a week. Completely unprovoked almost every time, right? So it's like nobody's doing this shit to you, despite the fear he has of the media always being against him. Like nobody's really doing anything to you. They're just like covering your words that you won't stop saying.
Yeah, because I don't even think that Fox initiated this. I think he just decided I want to call the Fox and have a conversation. And they probably were like, well, fuck yeah, we get the president. You know, and they just all went to shit.
I tried to listen to some of it. I think I was in for like barely listening for like 5 minutes and I just had to tap out. Like,
you can't listen to that man talk. Listening to is similar to like listening to Kanye talk. What the fuck are you saying? Why the fuck are you saying this? Where the fuck this is coming from? But dude, chill out.
I mean, granted, it was even more of a rant than his normal talking, but yeah, you're right. I have had times where I have listened to him for extended periods, like his some breakfast talk he'd given one day. You know, I listened to him for like 10, 15 minutes at a time or whatever. It's not easy. I like to say that because I don't like the guy. It's just mentally difficult because you never know what the fuck he's saying. You're always fact checking the guy because you know he's lying, and when you're listening to him, he is, as a matter of fact, just plain fucking lying, plain as day, doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's mentally disjarring to listen to him talk. To listen to somebody who has no interest in adhering to reality, doesn't have a point most of the time, he's just rambling non-stop. It's hard. I'm sorry, it's very difficult.
Oh, speaking of Kanye, so you've heard some of his stuff, like he's been saying, right?
Oh, I thought you meant his music. It's like,
oh no, actually, did you hear the weird ass song he did called "Free Yourself"?
Nope.
Oh my god, I have to do what I did to Katina to you then. I need you to listen to this. We need to like have a pause in this so you can hear this shit.
For real?
Wait, he just changed his website again. He put himself on the website. What is wrong with this man? Look at this shit. Oh my god.
I don't know what we're looking at.
Video of himself. It's wild. He chased it.
Does he have a website now?
It's called, yeah, I just sent the link to you. It used to be of his songs that he put out. Now it's just a video of him talking.
Where'd you send this link to?
I sent it in the chat.
I
Oh
don't
shit.
see it.
It didn't come through. Let me see. All right. There it is.
Okay.
But it's a weird video of him. I need to find Lift Yourself now. Jesus. Is this it? Let me see if I can find it on. Damn it, he took it down. He should have took it down. It was the greatest thing in the world. But it was the weirdest thing because if you look up the lyric, I could at least send you the lyrics.
I don't understand what he's talking about.
No, no one does. No one does.
I love T.I. Your intentions are pure, but your approach was unorthodox or whatever. He said, like, what? I'm not even convinced his intentions were pure.
See, this is the problem because everybody's trying to kind of like explain it away. Like T.I. did a song with him, by the way. That's one of the reasons why T.I. is on that bullshit about, well, yeah, I agree. Your intent is this and that, and because he's like, ah, shit, I just did a song with this guy, and it's his first single. Okay. Is this it?
We do a lot of that stuff with Trump too, right? Like, I feel like people try to explain insanity instead of just acknowledging that it's insanity.
Okay, I just sent you the link to the song. We need to like be quiet and let you listen to this so I can get your reaction to this.
All right. Listening to some good music today. Before I start this, though, you should like edit this song. Well, I guess you can't do that, copyrights, but gonna say so that people could hear it, but I'm sure they can find it themselves.
Well, they've kind of heard it. Like we turned the speakers down low, Katina, listen to it. You could hear the beat, and so honestly, I'm not worried about content strikes for this. I will gladly, because they could gladly have the ad revenue for this, because I'm not getting any anyway. Fuck it.
Let's see. It's not terrible.
Good beat, I know. By the way, sorry for the silence, people, but I gotta let her listen to this.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I love torturing people. It's crazy.
What the fuck?
And we have arrived, people.
What is that? Hold on. What the fuck? Was that it? What just happened? What was that whoop diddy poop scoop shit?
That was the lyrics he wanted you to wait for. Yes.
That's childish. What the fuck?
To give you background, like I gave Katina, I didn't seek this song out. I was watching a live stream on Twitch, and this guy mentioned it. He was like, "You guys haven't heard it? I'm playing it on my live stream now." I'm sitting there. It's like Sunday. I'm fucking cleaning or something, and he's playing this. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. Let's hear this stupid Kanye shit. Since I'm here, I'm cleaning. I'm not really gonna pay attention. And you're just hearing this beat. It's like the beat is good. It's a very, very good beat. And then he gets to the part where he's like, man, these verses right here, it's like, okay, what are you gonna say? That's dumb, Kanye. I wasn't expecting it to be that fucking dumb. Like, it was the worst. And I actually read the lyrics to Katina, and we were just sitting there like perplexed. Because for you guys who may not watch his or her point, I'm gonna read the lyric for you too, because they're asinine and they're dumb. And let's see if I can get through this. I had a hard time getting through it the last time, so I'm gonna have a hard time getting through it to here. Now he sets it up by coming in and saying, this next verse though, these bars, watch this, some shit, go. And then he commences, Poop diddy scoop. Scoopity whoop. Whoop diddy scoop dee poop. Poop diddy scoop diddy. Scoop diddy whoop. Whoop diddy scoop. Whoops poop. Poop diddy whoop scoop. Poop poop. Scoop diddy whoop. Whoop diddy scoop. Whoop diddy scoop poop. Bars.
This guy's a walking jail cell. He's got bars, baby.
I swear, I died. I could not contain myself.
But I mean, that's why I was confused at first. Like, the beat was interesting. At least it was keeping me engaged. It was like evolving throughout, and I was like, all right, the beat's not terrible. So, what message is this song going to bring? The beat had me thinking like, all right, it's at least a serious-ish song, and like the mood of the song was like, all right, what the fuck's gonna happen here? And then he did that, and I'm like, I don't understand why we did all this. Are you just trolling? I mean,
right, exactly. Nobody knows what the fuck it was going to. And to be like fair, they said that the T.I. song actually is kind of actually good. It's kind of counters some of the shit that he said, which is not surprising to me because again, I've always thought that this is just a part of how his madness works. Whenever he's about to put out an album, he goes on these like crazy like Twitter rants, and he's always tweeting like. I followed him after the last one because I was like, I know he's going to be saying something stupid again soon, and you didn't disappoint me, Kanye. Like he's been tweeting probably once every half an hour at least since the whole Trump thing started, and of course, it's getting closer to his new album because he's working on that new album, and it's an interesting thing to watch the mind of a madman work. And of course, you heard what happened today, right?
No.
Today, he went and did a TMZ interview, and he was upset at things such as he claimed that he was going to leave money alone and just put all his money into Bitcoin. And once he heard that Harriet Tubman was going to be put on the $20 bill. Reason being, he feels like all it does is just reminds us of slavery. And after all, slavery was a choice that we made. It had nothing to do with anything but us wanting to be slaves. And that we'd be better served putting somebody like Michael Jordan on the $20 bill.
I'm assuming you're paraphrasing here? Like,
no.
Because I haven't seen the story.
I'm not paraphrasing this.
It's been a hell of a day for me.
I'm not paraphrasing this man. And I don't want to, but if I have to, I will send you the link to the TMZ shit. because the guy who was interviewing TMZ got upset. Of course, I think it was a black guy. He got upset. He actually like went on a polite rant to educate Kanye on the fact that no, slavery wasn't anything that we chose to do. It wasn't like we went to the unemployment office in Africa at the time. It was like I just want to work hard for somebody else and not get paid, and like it'd be treated like shit. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, shit. He did. Okay then.
Yeah, and it was a weird interview because he also talked about how he used to be on opioids, but he quit 2 days ago, or some crazy shit like that.
This guy is so fucking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you think about the reaction to him, though? Putting his own personal shit aside, he is whatever he is, I guess. What do you think about everybody else's reaction toward him, then?
I find it comical in a way. Let's remember, like I was saying to you earlier, this was a guy who everybody lifted upon their shoulders when he said George Bush hates black people and all that, and defended to the death when he was doing other crazy stuff. But it's like, oh, now he's saying Trump is nice. He likes Trump. You don't know why y'all hate him, and y'all not gonna make him not like him. He's a good guy, and agreeing with the way that Candace, this social media pundit Candace Owens, agrees that black people whine too much, and about how you know, we only complain about racism because we're privileged and shit like that. Which I don't understand how that logic works in their mind, but Kanye agrees that logic makes sense.
I mean, I guess it does in the sense that, the reason you can complain is because you're not currently a slave, but that's
a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like that's what she was getting at. Even if she was, it's not really an important point anyway. So
yeah.
Even if I'm willing to cede that point to you, it's not a point that really gains you anything anyway. It's like saying the sky is blue. Like, yeah, facts, but not all facts are important, are they?
Yeah. So yeah, Kanye's, and like I said before, I just believe that people are overreacting. This guy is out of his mind. Everybody, I don't know how people haven't realized this motherfucker has been out of his mind. He was out of his mind when he did the George Bush hates black people thing. Let's be honest.
I was looking at the picture of this guy with his thumbs and smiling like, yeah, he's a fucking psycho, isn't he? But, I never even reacted when he was doing that shit. I was not surprised when he did that. And I didn't care because, well, all right, first and foremost, I don't worship particular individuals. I care about ideas, and ideas are valid or not valid, independent of who they came from. So, if a toddler says 2 + 2 = 4, that's true, not because the toddler did or didn't say it. It's just true, right? So ideas and the people they come from are independent. I don't really have any worship of individuals. So that's one reason I didn't care. But in this particular case, it's fucking Kanye. It's not like I was looking up to this motherfucker in the first place, right?
Yeah, when he did that, I thought it was hilarious because it was like, I can't believe he went and did some shit like that on TV.
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't look at Kanye as being one of the intellectual leaders of our time. So I was not particularly interested that he did that. I just thought, well, there's some more weird Kanye shit. And then I didn't really pay much attention to it until I saw how everybody else was reacting. And I'm like, have you guys not noticed Kanye before? Let's introduce.
Yeah, because my takeaway was more of how everybody on the show reacted. Like the fact that he had to segue into Mike Myers and the look on Mike Myers' face, like, oh shit, damn, it is my time to go. I don't know what to say after that. Like, what the fuck, dude? that was the takeaway that I got from there. Like, was it Trump being? Did I agree with Kanye with that shit? Not really, although I understood the sentiment. Because at that time, the United States government's reaction to New Orleans, and in particular, the urban areas, was fucking dumb and ridiculous and pathetic. So I can get why someone would probably think that when you look at all the factors, but at the same time, by no means was I celebrating this as a great, moment in the movement, quote unquote.
I think that goes back to that celebrity shit. Like, everybody should be free to say whatever they want, certainly. And some celebrities have some good things to say, but if people are acting like, again, like he was this great intellectual leader, or it was this world-renowned scientist who suddenly started saying crazy shit, like, it's classic Kanye. He's always fucking like this. Like, he's just, I don't know how to explain the motherfucker, but he is. He's Kanye, right? So it's not like he's doing anything all that unusual for him, first of all. And two, it's not like he was a leader for us in any important way. I'm sure some musicians were probably inspired by him in whatever weird fucking ways they were, but I just don't see why anything he says holds any weight.
Yeah, it really shouldn't, because the man's a goddamn fool.
Exactly. So that's my feeling, or lack thereof, as far as the response to Kanye wearing that "Make America Great" again hat, and being a Trump supporter.
That is
surprise.
And the funny thing is, for me, it's like y'all are getting this violence. Like, did y'all not remember this guy was hanging with Trump a few days after he won the election? Like, it's not brand new that he has positive feelings towards Trump. He was fucking hanging with him. Did y'all not forget 2016? It's not that far away.
Exactly. It's not It's not like he just suddenly came out of nowhere and started acting completely different in life. Not at all. And even if you want to argue like, well, you know, as a black celebrity, you have some responsibility to the public to, you know, endorse certain ideas or whatever. Even if you wanted to argue something like that, which I'm not certain you should, but let's say you did. Again, Kanye is not a leader for us. Or at least he shouldn't be, because he's a fucking psycho. So you shouldn't be propping him up to be your disappointment anyway. He's a weird little guy over there. You can do what the fuck you want. Like if Kanye endorsing Trump has some sort of negative impact on social movements, on black people, or whatever, then that's our fault for propping him up too high to fall on us anyway.
Yeah, because never in life do I recall this man going out with any effort to try to, I mean, any serious effort, I should say. Yeah, he speaks his mind and says crazy shit, and some things actually sound good, but it's just like, again, with this whole situation, the man is quiet on Twitter until he has a project, and all of a sudden, he's all over Twitter. Like, I heard Kim got on some interview. It was like, yeah, I was surprised that he said all this. I didn't know because, you know, I thought his Twitter was shut down. I was like, no, you didn't. You commented on his last rants. You commented on all his rants. You're aware of him. Stop lying. You know what I mean? But it's just like,
I mean, at least she's not like just rolling along with this crazy shit. At least she's acknowledging that it's fucking weird.
right, like, oh, I had no idea he was back on Twitter. Like, shut up. Just shut up. You know what you married. Come on.
I like what was it you just said? You know, he speaks his mind. I feel like that's too low a bar because Trump speaks his mind. The problem is when your mind is made of garbage, you know, you get what you get. The idea that you're, you know, not hiding anything inside, you're always pouring out what's on your brain, is all fine and dandy, but not when everything in your brain is stupid.
Yeah, and you have to realize that some of that stuff you're going to pay consequences for. So
I just had to seize on that when you mentioned that, because that's the same reason people like, one of the reasons people like Trump so much is that he's speaking his mind. He's not dancing around with this political jargon and waffling and all that shit.
Yeah, I hate the whole people behind the whole I say what I want movement. It's like, yeah, you say what you want. Just know that you're going to, like, again, catch these hands, whether it be, you know, literally or, you know, metaphorically speaking.
I would prefer people say something smart than just whatever.
Nice for a change.
I just think the bar shouldn't be you just spit out whatever you want.
Right, like, oh, at least you comfortable in speaking your mind. You know, that's good. No, it's not good because your mind is a fucked up place that no one needs to share in.
I mean, if you want to speak your mind, by all means, but can we at least, you know, critique your mind a little bit? Like,
and that's the problem. It's like the whole argument again with the free speech thing. Everybody screams about how free speech is being curtailed and like people are like doing this. And I think, no, nobody's telling you can't say shit except for places like Sinclair Media, which I found was an interesting story today too. But well, it happened a long time ago, but they came back up in the news, and I remember that story. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But no, it's like, yeah, go ahead and say some shit. Just know that if it's some like if it's some bullshit, you're gonna pay. And people like him, Trump, they don't seem to get that shit.
Yeah.
And like with him, I give him at least a little bit more leeway because I've been saying since God knows how long, especially since his mom passed, that the man needs mental health. He has issues and he needs not to be marrying a favorite. I said it before when he was marrying Kim. It's like, no, he doesn't need to be involved in this type of situation. He needs to seek help. He needs to like, they're a madhouse themselves. He needs to get around with people who are going to actually look out for him and try to get him the mental help he needs. Yeah, but being famous, I guess he don't have that luxury. Maybe I don't know. I've never been rich and famous to know, but I would like to think that he has someone in his camp who's like, "Yo, Kanye, you need to get yourself together. We need to like address these issues." But this don't surprise me. Just like this Friday didn't surprise me when Trump threw a rally instead of going to the White House Correspondent dinner, because I go and sit at a meeting at a event that you were more than willing to be a participant in when it came to people roasting other people. But now that you're president, you don't want no parts of that because your ego is so fucking fragile that you can't stand it. So you have to throw a goddamn rally in, the end of April.
What was that shit you said? Like, why would I go somewhere where everybody hates me or something like that? I can't remember the quote, but it was something along those lines. Like, why would I sit at a dinner where everybody hates me?
Like, you did it, like, what, fucking 5-6 years in a row when you went to the Obama one. Nobody liked you then. If you act like people liked you then, nobody liked you. Nobody really liked you.
I think more people probably dislike him now, but in fairness.
I find that very questionable because I honestly don't think that he's a well-liked person at all. I don't think he's ever been a well-liked person. I think that's why he's built this.
No, I just meant there's a larger number of people that don't like him because now there's a larger number of people that have to think about him. Whereas,
well, this is true. Before he was just a like reality TV nuisance. Now he's like, oh my God, you're gonna destroy us all.
Sure. I don't think the percentage of people in his life that liked him has changed very much. I'm sure it was already a pretty high number of dislikes. I just think that the overall number, given the spotlight he has on top of him now, is much larger. So fair, but one, stop being such a pussy, first of all. Right. They don't like me. Ugh. This is supposed to be that fucking tough guy who talked about the nuclear, options he wanted to use. Awesome. Secondly, if nobody fucking likes you, maybe there's something wrong with you.
It's like it's one thing for have a few people not like you, or a few people like hate something that you do, but if the continual pattern is that you're building this reputation where people have no trust and no care for you, you have to kind of sit back and like, gee, is it me? Of course, he's not going to ever do that because that's a responsible act, and it's an adult act. Two things he does not have any clue about. But he decided to hold a rally during the White House Correspondent dinner, which is supposed to celebrate the press and free speech and all that. And they brought in comedian Micheal Wolf to be the marquee.
I recognize her from The Daily Show.
Yeah, and she's very brutal. She didn't pull no punches on her goddamn thing because she was making fun of Republicans, Democrats, policies. She made fun of fucking Sarah Sanders, which everybody took her joke to be like a slash on her eye, even though it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't.
What is smoky eye? I thought that was like a reference to the makeup or whatever.
Yeah,
smoky eye is. I'm just not familiar with.
Yeah, it was a reference to her makeup, but like she actually went and did an interview. She's like, people kind of missed the point that I was just saying. Like, the reason she has the smoky eye stuff is because it's from the ashes of all the lies that she tells on paper that she burns and uses as a. It's like, y'all ain't get that part.
I mean, we've had instances where people go after Miss Huckabee, Sanders, Huckabee, whatever fuck her name is, her appearance there. So I can see why people are paying a little bit more attention to it than usual.
Yeah.
But when I heard that joke, I was like, that's not really all that much of an appearance joke. Like, even if you want to say it wasn't.
I mean, for me, I was like, yeah, I could see where the touchy-feely nature could be because I'm sure she's tired of people making fun of her looks.
Sure.
So, okay, I'll give you that one. But for everything else that she did, everything else she said, I was like, they were like, oh, it's just the mean spirit. This is the worst thing I've ever heard. That's not right. The media has no right to make jokes about the president and blah blah blah. It's like, dude, they've been making fun of the president for years. They did it every year. They did it to Obama. They did it to Bush. They did it to Clinton. They did it to Reagan. They did it to, like, he's the first president in like decades not to attend one. I think they said. And this is 2 years in a row he hasn't attended.
I mean, she's there to roast you, right? Like,
right.
There's a reason you got a comedian to do it and not like,
right.
A policymaker or something, because she was supposed to do that.
Yeah, I heard Paul Ryan tried to make some jokes at the thing and they were horrible.
Something about the idea of Paul Ryan trying to make jokes just immediately makes me laugh.
Yeah, it does, because I can't imagine him. I can see, like, he just seems like he'd be so sterile.
I mean, that dude, it seems like the epitome of dad jokes right off the bat. And not even like dad jokes that are so not funny they're funny, just like absolutely not funny dad jokes.
Yeah, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I heard that people didn't respond to some of his jokes. They were really bad. But like the whole reaction that's been going on, how people are like talking about how this is awful, how mean spirited, because the jokes were leaning more towards a blue opinion, but at the same time, they could do that during Obama as well, and they could do that during Clinton, and they did it. So more to the point, I agree with what a lot of people are saying, like how they're talking about how insensitive and mean, how cruel this is. Just an example of how liberals are just like horrible people with horrible opinions and just always want to make fun of the conservative base. And it's just like, y'all remember when y'all were burning and hanging the last president in effigy and making shirts like talking about tie him up and shit like that? Like, ha ha ha, that was funny, right? Yeah.
I mean, our current president says our last president wasn't born in America, so wasn't born an American citizen. So there's that.
And that's the thing. A president who does nothing but try to roast people, calling the fucking governor of California Moonbeam, fucking Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, Rocket Man, Kim Jong-un. Like, he fucking talks about and makes fun of and belittles people while doing his job.
And
not,
to be fair, that's not like an excuse or anything. Like, you could separate what he does from what you feel liberals are doing if you honestly feel like they're doing that to you. But one, I think we made the point that the liberal fucking whatever you want to call what just happened with Micheal Wolf there wasn't really that heinous anyway. But if you want to get back onto what Trump and his ilk do all the time, it seems like you can dish it, but you can't take it. I remember, and I always felt bad for this joke, but I still say it. It always weirded me out the number of people who got all whiny about Hillary Clinton calling people deplorables. So I was always thinking, like, you guys are the people that call everybody libtards, gun-hating pussies, and, socialists and communists and all this horrendous shit you call people. But let the mean old lady call you, deplorable one time, and it just haunts you for the rest of your fucking lives.
Yeah.
Pussies there, but, like, it is this odd thing with them where they feel like they can just say whatever they want. And then if anybody says anything back, it's the end of the world.
And that always has killed me about people who try to be over the top offensive. Let you say one offensive thing to them and their whole world falls apart. It's like, really? You've called me everything in the book, and I say this one thing that hits the mark, and it's just like, oh my God, how could you say something like that? No, excuse you. How could you be upset after the things that you said to me? But
being offended is not the end of the world anyway. So like a lot of the people that make that point, like, oh, you guys are too easily offended. I mean, sometimes I agree with them because I don't think being offended is that big a deal. But unlike them, I tend to carry that to the natural conclusion, which means you can offend me back. I don't just use it as an excuse to say that I can offend you guys all I want and you can't say shit to me. It means that it's a two-way street. And we take our offenses as we take them, but they're separate from the actual ideas. But, whatever. It was fucking weird. I don't see why they were such crybabies about this. I saw some of it. I laughed a little bit. I thought other parts of it were kind of boring, but whatever. She didn't walk in there with a machete and like slash everybody. Like, let's calm the fuck down. There's much bigger problems than Micheal Wolf's little tear on those guys.
Yeah, and the thing is, again, a lot of the comedy, while it stung hard, there was truth in a lot of it. Like when she made the comment about Democrats, how like you don't have to worry about them because it's not like they're gonna like really do anything. Joke. I forget exactly how she said it, but that's how she kind of references it. It's like, yeah, because Democrats tend to fold under certain under pressure under certain circumstances, which is like it's fucking true. We've seen it before. It's not like we haven't seen it happen, you know. So
I remember a lot of people saying that thing was, completely one-sided just against Trump and his, guys or whatever. I mean, sure, I'm sure she said some things about Democrats or whatever, but and I think this is something we got to think about here. There's just a lot more to make fun of with Trump and his party. Like they're full of a bunch of psychos. Because I remember when Trump first got elected, even before that, they were like, "You guys didn't make fun of Obama like this." I'm like, one, yes, we did make fun of Obama, but two, yeah, you're right. We didn't make fun of him at this level because there just wasn't that much to make fun of. He had like a weird way of talking. He's kind of tall. He got like these big ears or whatever. There's not much you can make fun of the motherfucker for. He was just a guy, Like Trump in himself has a lot of things to make fun of, but he surrounds himself with absolute psychos.
And that's the thing. It's like you're following up a leader who had self-deprecating tendencies. Obama actually spoke a couple of times and roasted himself at these dinners. Like he went along with it. He understood it. He was fine with it.
Yes.
Although I do believe that one of the reasons why Trump doesn't want to come back is that the last time that I believe he attended, Obama roasted the fuck out of him, and I don't think he appreciated that. So
I mean, that goes through his ego, but again, I just think people need to stop saying like, you're being so unfair to Trump. Everybody's so mean. You weren't this mean to previous presidents. Well, why would we have been so harsh on the previous president?
We've been horrible to presidents. I'm sorry. Gerald Ford became the original start of presidential skits on Saturday Night Live because he tripped and fell a couple of times on camera. Like, no, you're not the only person to get it. They made fun of everybody, even after the presidency.
But I can see why they might think that Trump gets an unfair amount of ridicule, but I think that's an illusion. I think you feel that he's getting an unfair amount of ridicule because, this goes to his tendencies. He's always talking. He's always tweeting. He's always doing fucking rallies. We see him a lot more than we see most presidents, right? Like, I'm not used to seeing a president this often. And he's always doing something fucking crazy. So you tend to see him get made fun of so much because he's always putting himself out there and doing something ridiculous on top of the literal dozens of other people he surrounded himself with, like Carson or Conway or Sanders or whoever the fuck was in her job before that dude, I forgot his name, the Mooch. Like it's like living in a cartoon world because he keeps surrounding himself with characters. So it's not that, the mainstream liberal media is just so unfair against Trump. He's just so fucking weird and he's surrounding himself with so many weird people and doing so many dumb things that he's naturally generating more attention than those other people did. Not more mean to him, he's just more active in terms of being an asshole.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's just weird because it's like, dude, you keep putting yourself out there. Like, he doesn't have to say half the shit that he says. He doesn't have to introduce half the ideas he has to. He could wait. Like, and that's the problem. He dumps so much stuff on us. It's like, again, this is us paring down because there was a lot of stories that I probably could have jumped on. Like the fact that they had to have Congress vote on protecting Robert Mueller from being removed and things like that. They brought that vote to the full floor for discussion, and McConnell's kind of trying to deflect it. It's like, why do we have to make special laws to protect people from investigating stuff that can potentially expose a conspiracy that fucked over the country. You know, that's not right. You know, things like that. Just like now, there's breaking news that apparently Robert Mueller had a discussion with Trump's lawyers to fucking subpoena him. You know, it's like so much goes on, but he puts himself in a position where you can't help but to want to talk about him because it's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
You can't help but have to talk about him, which,
yeah,
again, we're not being paying an unfair amount of attention to this motherfucker. It's like if you have, you know, like you're a teacher who teaches like little kids or whatever, and you see the teacher always like yelling at this one particular kid. It's not because she hates that kid. It's probably because that kid is just more disruptive than the rest of them. Like, that's just kind of how it is. He's going to get more attention because he needs to get more attention because he's destroying everything.
And it's just like you do things like this rally that I mentioned he did on the same night as the correspondent, talking about he would rather be there and all of that. And they talked about different things that he said, and he was saying some like crazy asinine things. And again, he was, you know, making fun of the governor of California doing that, called him moonbees. He was saying stuff like, just to go through some of the things that he was saying. Well, of course, he first of all went off about how there were so many people there, and that they had to like cut people off outside because they couldn't sell tickets. Like, the fuck does this have to do with what you're here to discuss? Like, again, this man loves to sell and promote himself so much. He brought up the election again about how he carried Michigan and how he carried a lot of states. Like, okay, dude. We know you're president because every time they put you on TV now, they call you president.
Sure.
You don't have to remind us that you won the fucking election. Like, jeez.
He won the election the Democrats should have won. I love when he says that. An election they should have won easily, by the way. Oh my God.
That's the thing. It's like, how are you doing yourself a service by saying that? Like, shit, I just stumbled into this shit. I don't know how the fuck I won. Yeah, I should have got my ass. That don't make you look good, sir. Like,
it plays into his narrative perfectly. What do you mean? His narrative has always been that he's the underdog. You know, the entire process was rigged against him, and somehow he overcame anyway. It's a stupid narrative, but he's always consistent with this. You know, the mainstream liberal media is always bullying me. All these people are mean to me. Everybody's against me, but I succeed anyway. And we're making America great and blah, blah, blah. His narrative, when it comes to himself, is fairly consistent. As consistent as anything else he could possibly do, I guess.
And it's ridiculous and unnecessary because, like, dude, that shouldn't be your main concern.
No, but it has always been.
It always is. It's so poor fragile ego. And of course, he brought up the wall. He said that we have no borders. Shocked me because every time I look at a map of the United States, there's those lines that are drawn and quartered off and shit like that. So we have no borders. We have the worst laws in the world, by the way.
It's because we have that caravan coming up here and getting ready to fuck us.
All right, it's like we have no worse laws, mind you. You have a lot of people who you don't want to let in that are trying to come here because we have probably, even though we have some fucked up shit going on, we have probably one of the more agreeable systems in government.
So on that note, and I'm sure we skipped past this, but you know, Daniels is suing Mr. Trump for defamation, I believe.
Yeah, she announced that she's suing him for defamation. God damn it! Why does all this stuff happen?
I look at that, I'm like, you know what? Good. There needs to be consequences to talking the way he does. Stop. I'm not saying there need to always be legal consequences, but you cannot keep fucking lying and talking shit like this with no consequence. I'm sorry. Like, something needs to happen to you. We need to get to a place in reality here where there's consequences for being an asshole and certainly consequences for lying all the fucking time. I'm sure you told like a dozen lies at least at that fucking rally. We don't have borders.
Yeah, we have the worst government. Democrats hate the military. It was one of his frequently said comments, and they don't care about borders or crime.
I don't know if he referenced it there, but he's brought up that caravan thing coming up several times, making it seem like they were just going to pour into the country illegally when I believe that they were coming to seek asylum legally.
Yeah, they're coming to seek legal asylum.
So he tells out and out lies, and there needs to be some fucking consequences for that. So, yeah, we know you're lying. It's not like you're getting away with this shit. You just keep doing it because there's no consequences for you, and that's a problem.
Yeah. By the way, his comment it was an unsolicited comment about North Korea and South Korea. What was the comment? Okay, they were saying, what do you think President Trump had to do with it? I will do you what? How about everything? I will tell you what. How about everything? First of all, the alliteration. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I know I could fuck up and fumble words, but good Lord.
It's, I'm not the most eloquent person ever, but
yeah,
that shit is rough.
Like, jeez. A second, what's everything?
Literally everything good is because of Trump. I don't think. Why the fuck does he feel the need to do this?
Like, he threatened the senator John Tester, who brought up the issues with Dr. Jackson, who he nominated for VA. He said, "Oh, I know things of him. I got things to say." Motherfucker, just say them. At this point, why are you trying to hype this up continually? Like you're gonna bury this guy's career because you didn't get the guy you want.
Say them and then get sued. Everybody should be suing this motherfucker. Like, yeah. Why do we? If Obama had somehow secured peace between North and South Korea, and I mean legitimately by himself sat them down in a room and made it happen, I don't think he would be even a quarter as braggadocious as Mr. Trump is being right now. I mean, even if you did personally secure this, why can't you be humble about this? What is your fucking problem? Are you not going to be satisfied until we all get on our knees and like bow down to you or something? What do you want? What are you trying to achieve here?
Yeah, if anything, you just make people not want to give you credit because like nobody likes a fucking braggart like that. Yeah, or it's like this. Well, you made a line that says, "You remember John Lovett's a liar. Comey's worse. He's a liar and leaker." This was in reference to James Comey. He went on a rant about him, and compared him to John Lovett. Which, do you understand that reference?
No, not at the top of my head. Should I? He says a lot of shit. I'm not sure I quite understand what he means.
I guess he's talking about the Saturday Night Live skit that John Lovett used to do, where he used to play this guy. He used to try to like pretend he like was famous and rich and like. What the fuck does John Lovett? But that's a character. John Lovett's what?
I'm sorry. You made me do this. You made me go to this dude's Twitter. This guy is great.
Yeah, and
so, quote, "It would seem very hard to obstruct justice for a crime that never happened. Witch hunt." What? You're obstructing, when they say you're obstructing justice, they mean you're obstructing the investigation. It doesn't really matter that much whether the crime happened or not.
Yeah, because they're trying to find out if the crime happened.
Yeah. Like, that entire sentence or statement there did make no fucking sense.
And then he also mentioned that he's willing to shut the government down if you don't get his wall by the fall. Like, okay, so good. You're gonna keep people out of work and you're gonna fuck up the economy. The economy that you claim that you're fixing with your tax things and all the things that you're doing, but you're willing to bury the economy because you want a fucking wall.
I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be reading this.
Yeah, he must have said something else now.
Yeah, I didn't have a good day, and now I'm reading this. You know what? No, it's weirdly making my day better because it's like creepy. It's like dark humor. It's weirdly funny. It's like watching a madman just descend further and further into insanity.
I would say this is the last comment that he wrote that they took away from the thing. I think this is fitting of him. "We are higher now than we were on election day. We are higher now." And of course, CNS have also no comment, and I agree because we probably know what you're high on. And that's why you want Dr. Ronny, since Dr. Ronny is known to give out prescriptions like candy. That's why you probably know so much about opioids too.
I wish I was high.
Yeah. Hey, man, it would get us through these 4 years if he lasted the whole time. Tell you what.
I wish President Trump read more so that he would have like a wider, vocabulary, some more creative diction, because like the number of times he uses the phrase witch hunt in a day on Twitter is shocking. If I was to go and count for like the last 24 hours, I would not be happy about the number that I ended up.
But again, all this is fake. Why are you constantly railing on it? That's the thing. It's like, dude, it's not real, so why are you upset?
If it was fake, then you may as well just let them finish their investigation because they wouldn't find anything, right? So who gives a shit?
Yeah, but he so much cares.
Because he's pretty sure he's adding this dimension of obstruction, whatever that would mean in the legal sense. He is adding that dimension because he won't shut the fuck up. That collusion thing would probably always still be investigated, but
it wouldn't be as loud.
No, it wouldn't. He's bringing this shit to the forefront all the time.
Yeah,
which is fun. But yeah, president's being sued for defamation by a porn star. Sick.
And of course, his L's continued after these things because Dr. Ronny Jackson, his nominee for VA, withdrew, claiming that all these charges were false and that, they were basically false, untrue, but they were distraction, basically. So he decided to quit instead of fight, because that's what you do when someone's lying about you. You stop wanting to get the job that you were nominated for because these are lies. I quit from trying to get this job. Like, explain to me the logic in there.
I hope that was rhetorical because I'm sure shit not gonna explain that.
Yeah, it was rhetorical. Although, if you could actually explain that, I would very much appreciate like reasonable, logical explanation for why you would quit, even though you say all these claims are false. And it's funny, it came out today that one of the sources of the claims that John Tester, the Democratic senator from Montana, who Trump says should quit for bringing up these false, fake allegations on Dr. Ronny. Why do you call him Dr. Ronny?
Dr. Ronny.
Like, this guy just has like a fucking juvenile nickname for everybody and everything.
Because that's his buddy, yo. I mean, like I said, if
like Dr. Ronny gives you a lollipop after you pass your physical, like Donald, like, jeez.
Sure.
Wow. Oh my God.
He grabbed my balls and then he gave me a lollipop. What? So, oh God.
But it came out today that the major source for Tester's claims came from not some fake news or some made-up liberal movement, but from Mike Pence's doctor. So
Mike Pence's doctor a liberal? That sounds. Anybody who be a doctor to Mike Pence must be a hippie. That's all.
I don't think that you will be allowed in the room with Mike Pence if you're a liberal. You damn sure ain't going to be allowed to touch his body because you're an impure human being. And only people who could touch him are, pure conservatives and his wife, who he calls mommy.
I bet his wife needs like a written request. Please allow at least 3 business days for this request to process.
Yeah. And I just creep myself out because of the fact that he calls his wife mother.
I mean,
could you imagine, mother? Would you like to get it on, Theo?
I mean, some women call their male partner daddy, which
and I hate that. I totally hate that. To be quite honest, don't call me that, please. You ruin the mood. So This guy not only withdrew from being a nominee, but he is now officially not working as the White House doctor anymore. He's not the chief.
Yeah, somebody else is in what was previously his role now. So, fuck you. That job is gone, sir.
Yeah, so now the president doesn't have a doctor. So shit, he's able to eat all the Big Macs and fish fillets he wants. Without being like, he probably won't get his medicine to stop his heart from failing. But
so he doesn't have a doctor. I thought somebody else was the doctor now.
I'm assuming they bumped somebody up from the staff.
Yeah, that was under the
makes sense.
Yes, I was under the impression somebody else was in that role.
But the thing is, would you want that doctor unless he was willing to lie for you and tell the world that you're 6'3" and only 230 pounds?
I'd ask him to tell more believable lies, but sure.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because I remember hearing somebody saying that they really wish that he would have stuck it out because he would have been buried under. He would have had to admit that he lied about that shit under oath. I mean, could you imagine? Because that would have probably been the first question I would have asked him, too. It's like, yeah, is Trump really 6'3", 230?
That would be a great day in America.
Yeah, because that would test your integrity right there. Because either way, it's like you lie and we come out and we find out it's a lie, you're done. But if you tell the truth, well, shit. How can we trust you with policy if you're willing to make that type of lie?
Well, yeah. Weird times.
This is a weird administration. This is a weird presidency.
He picks the best people.
Clearly. Also, this will make you happy. Today, several key staff members of the EPA resigned.
Was Scott Pruitt one of them?
Unfortunately, not. Unfortunately, he's not. But it's sad because clearly there's something going on. So I don't know if that's good news or not, because good for them. They're out of a horrible work environment.
Sure.
Good that sensible people don't want to be a part of this madness. But bad because now you have less sensible people.
So, I mean, yeah, like, you need motherfuckers in these jobs, man. Like, we need people in these positions doing shit.
Yeah.
When we talk about how much of the president's cabinet at any given moment isn't filled, or just random important positions in the government that aren't currently filled, that's important. Those positions exist for a reason. I assume for the most part, people should be doing those fucking jobs. They matter. They can't just be vacant forever. We invented them for a reason. So
yeah, because didn't somebody was it the head of Interior or somebody involved in Interior is quitting or was quitting or something? It's something. I think they were thinking he's going to fire the head of Interior. It's like, okay, there goes all our parks and wildlife. Yeah.
I know people think government doesn't do anything, and maybe it's certainly not the most efficient thing I've ever seen, but yeah, we have these things for a reason. We need this shit. Don't.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, these places would function under a different capacity, and you would actually really see why they're necessary. But it's like now they do feel more like a joke than anything, because you either get a joke running it or you don't have anybody because they can't nominate nobody worth a damn to actually fill a seat.
Oh God, I remember early in the administration when he was hiring people, and we were seeing all the scandal and stuff, and I was like, all right, he must have learned. He's going to learn this lesson at some point, that you can't just put whoever you want wherever you want without people talking some shit. He's gonna, and more to the point, when people kept getting kicked out of those positions for whatever scandals they were doing, I was like, okay, he's going to learn that it doesn't make sense to put these dummies in these positions because they're going to get removed at some point anyway. He just never learns.
He just keeps reloading.
Ever.
You keep putting blanks in the pistol, sir. What are you doing?
I just don't understand what motivates this. It never works for you, and yet you do it over and over and over again.
He's like that baseball player that everybody knows. If you throw a curveball, he can't resist to swing at it. He just doesn't know how to not swing. Yet he also knows that he can't hit it, but he keeps trying his best to swing at that bat. No matter where the pitch is, he's going to swing at it. Doesn't even have to be in the strike zone. He's going to swing it. Just keep swinging. Maybe one day he'll hit. And I feel like that's his whole thing. Like he feels like one day he's going to get a hit. He's going to keep trying.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, keep like striking out. It's cool. Okay.
I don't know. Let's hop off that shit.
Well, I did want to talk about Joy Reid, but I don't think we really need to talk about that because we got more important. Just really in brief, that Joy Reid thing with the whole hacking of her blog and the.
I don't want to talk about it. This goddamn homophobic asshole coming out here shitting on the LGBT community. Fuck her.
And to be fair, she gave a very good, sincere apology, and she brought up some things that, you know, made sense, and I could relate from looking at people that I've grown up with, how she would feel that way and how she's actually changed. But that's neither here nor there. We talked about that on the His Point Her View podcast. If you want to hear me and my co-host Katina's opinion of the Joy Reid situation, we will have that covered. We're actually going to be dropping 3 episodes of that this week, so you guys should be happy.
All about Joy Reid. 3 episodes worth of Joy Reid. Crazy.
Nah.
I mean, Mike's the big fan, so understandable.
I mean, I do like her work.
I mean, I'll say briefly, I thought the hacking explanation thing is kind of weird, but
yeah, it's bullshit. I mean, personal take is it could have happened, but at the same time, I do believe, like she said, she kind of hinted in her apology, like, yeah, there were a time where I probably have said some like fucked up shit, but I've gotten over that, and it's like, okay, cool, because we all have gone through that.
When she said that, I was like, I guess you're just in denial, because, I mean, I've had times where I've looked back at things that, like, creatively I've written. Like, I used to write poetry and stuff every once in a while, and I look back at some of that shit, I'm like, it doesn't feel like your own voice at all if it's, like, decades removed. So I can see why something she wrote a long time ago would be foreign to her. Yeah. It's not completely unreasonable. I don't think that the logical explanation is that somebody hacked you, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, because she even admitted she had a friend who came to her and admitted he was gay, and they ended up having a rift because she, you know, at the time wasn't with that. So, I mean, it happens. I mean, she's grown up.
Yeah, I think you probably mentioned it on the His Point of View stuff, but the interesting relationship between the blacks and the gays.
Yeah, it is very, very
as far as culture, it's odd.
Yeah, or more to the point, just how people who tend to have similar issues with being discriminated against and having people, you know, view them in a very negative light, how they'll do the same thing to each other all the time. That was part of the discussion because it's just like it again, as we talk online about, it's like it's always weirded me out how say a gay white man can be getting totally bashed by a bunch of homophobic white people, yet he could turn around and look at one of us as a black person and be like, why is that person here? He doesn't deserve it like this, like, you know, go, and he'll pile in with them on the black person, because, you know, and vice versa, like situations like that, you know, it's like,
sure.
Yeah,
it's odd, but I just mentioned the black culture thing because I think that's something, if you're not black, you probably don't notice as much, is that while the country becomes ever more accepting, including black culture, I believe, there is a special flavor of disdain for the LGBT community that has existed in black culture. I do think black culture is, you know, falling in line too with being more accepting, but there is a noticeable difference with the way Black people have thought about gender identity and sexual orientation. Not a great difference, but can leave it at that, I guess.
Yeah. But that's enough of the Joy Reid. We're done with the serious stuff. Because we have more important things to discuss right now. So
God of War. I didn't think so, asshole.
Look, I have a life, okay? And yes, I'm saying that to make you feel bad. So you can leave me alone. You can leave me alone. Like the fact that this man has beaten God of War and I haven't, and I'm very, very lax in playing it. It's been a couple of days that I played it.
So
take care of stuff.
I played more than I should have. I can't even explain myself now. I can't explain it yet. You'll have to beat it.
It's cool. I mean, you really, really liked the game. You were into it.
No, that's not the reason. Okay, so I'll say it this way. I didn't expect it to end when it ended. Which is what threw me off. I didn't think I was that close to the end, which is part of the reason I beat it. And I think I was a little misled by the percent complete thing that comes up when you press start. Because I think it's referring to everything you could possibly do in the game.
Right.
So I kept looking at that, thinking that was an indicator of how far through the story I was. Which is why I ended up beating it so fast.
Interesting.
But it's fucking amazing. Oh my god. And if anybody out there who isn't playing God of War, I just need to ask you, why don't you love yourself? Real talk, do you need help? Do you need a shoulder to cry on? Why don't you love yourself?
Perhaps they're still on that whole console war thing and they need to stick with their brand.
I'm not even going to acknowledge that you said that.
But yes, it's a great game. I will finish it this week. It's funny that I choose the week that I start school to decide I'm going to finish this game because, damn it, I need to start finishing games. But I'm going to finish that game because I need to see what happens to Boy. I can give a fuck about Kratos. Kratos can go fall in a ditch for all I fucking care. But
Boy 2020.
Boy, yeah, Boy is the man. Boy is the shit. And it is funny because I think I mentioned this to you before, but every time I play and I get to a point where there's an upgrade, I always look to Boy first. I always be mad when I don't have enough to upgrade armor or something to Boy. I want Boy to be the fuck this Kratos, dude.
Sometimes the merchants or whatever they are, they'll give you shit if you don't upgrade Boy. You go into the option to upgrade him, and if you don't have the shit and you back out, all right, nothing for the little guy. Sorry, motherfucker, I can't afford it. I don't know.
Yeah, one of the guys, he gets so disappointed because he gets so excited when you pick Boy, for the Boy, and then if you don't have enough, he's oh, okay, I gotta go help this. I gotta go help you, fucker. Okay, fucking bad dad.
So you're still in the same place, where you just got out of Alfheim?
Yeah, I floated somewhere. I forget where I floated to, but
I was wondering.
I was floating around the lake, and I was like, I need to go. I want to explore.
I mean, do it. I was just wondering if you've been introduced any new characters yet.
No, not yet, because I'm just poking. I was poking around a bit because I was like, gee, this lake probably has a lot of stuff that I can do. I'm really gonna fuck with this other stuff, right?
It does.
Especially after the part in Alpha.
But I will let it slide for now.
It's fine. If I don't get any significant headway by this weekend, you can just make me on the next episode. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, you fuckers play that shit. I'm not even recommending a book today because you guys should be busy playing God of War. And if you're not, you need to seek help.
There you go.
You gotta love yourself more than that, folks. Come on.
Do it, damn it. So, speaking of hating on things and people, Infinity War. Now, guys, look at your clocks now. I'm going to stretch this out a bit. You're about to spoil shit. We're about to spoil shit hard. I'm checking my phone now. I think we started around 7:30. So it's about 2 hours. It's about 2 hours into this podcast. So
it's probably gonna put like a big spoiler banner like right over this thing, and you like if you watch the edited video, it's probably just gonna be like spoiler with like alarms for like 10 seconds, and then somebody will still complain.
yeah. It's funny because I'm looking on my Twitter to see something. I'm supposed to be doing this spoiler cast actually, probably tomorrow. With Eurostrix. It'll be on this channel, so get ready for that too. Just forewarning. We're gonna probably talk another 3 hours. We can't talk 3 hours here because I actually got to get up in the morning. But I'd be more than willing to invite you to the spoiler cast if you want.
Sure. I don't think I've ever talked to Strix directly, so.
Oh, he's a different type of geek, but you're a geek too, so
I'm the better kind, right?
Not really. I'm sorry.
Cold-blooded.
It's okay. You know what you are. Anyway.
What the fuck?
So, again, people, I've stretched it out enough.
I feel
going to talk about the Infinity War. You feel like what?
I feel like I should just cut out now and just like go read comics.
It's fine because I will go on a rant. I'm probably going to do an individual fucking rant on this whole thing because I'm getting sick and tired of people with their opinions on this movie too. We'll get into that in a bit. So let's start off with the basics. Now, people, if you don't want to hear about Infinity War, you haven't seen it. First of all, what the fuck is wrong with you? Second of all, stop here because we're going to talk candidly about this goddamn movie. So you've been forewarned. And with that, here we go. So first opinions. I'll go first and just say that I thought the movie was brilliant. I thought that the way that they paced it was really, really good. I thought that they did an amazing job of making everybody seem like they matter, which I thought was going to be such a hard job to do. Even people who weren't on the screen, they kind of made them matter, particularly Hawkeye. They made mention that he's doing something special. And I think they briefly mentioned Ant-Man too.
I actually missed that because I was wondering where the fuck Ant-Man was.
Yeah, I think they said something about his location, but I can't remember where. It makes me think that at this point it's probably like the movie is kind of running sort of concurrent with the Wasp, which I really think like Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to kind of be like this is going to be like what he was doing while this was all starting to shape and form type of deal. But yeah, they made everybody matter. Even in the cutscenes, they made someone who we don't even know about. If you're someone who's not a big Marvel comic book reading fan, you may not know who this particular person is, and we're going to spoil it. But even then, like it's like clearly everybody in this universe matters. That was cool. Now, if I had one detracting thing, it would be Thanos. And the only reason it's Thanos is because I hate that fucker. I hope he dies the worst death in comic book movie history ever. Because he's a fucking son of a bitch. And he's fuck. And again, this is a positive because this is like how I felt about Killmonger. I hated that person. He did his job. He made me hate and despise him and want to see like him go away for his like fucking maniacal. That's how good of a villain he is. Because
sometimes people forget that you're not supposed to like a villain. I think too many people are used to liking, say, Loki or the Joker, finding them appealing as characters, interesting at least. You're not supposed to. If you read comics, those characters do like pretty horrific things. They're not meant to be liked often.
Yeah. No, but I thought the way they did it and the way they ended it, which is a topic of much debate, was perfect. Because it was something that you rarely see in movies, if at all.
Yeah.
I love the movie. You, sir, go.
I seem to agree. I adored that movie. When I saw that there was an odd reaction to the ending, I just thought to myself, one, you're not paying any fucking attention because they told you this would be a 2-part movie. So you had to have known that it was going to end on some kind of heavy note to lead into the next one. And 2, I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe Marvel didn't do a good enough job preparing you idiots. Like, you don't seem to understand how comics work. Like, people die and come back all the fucking time. And I don't think people appreciate that that is just like a thing in comics nowadays. Like, a few months ago, I was reading, it was either the current run of like the Batman comic itself or Detective Comics. And, you know, all the Robins were sitting together at a table. So like Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Damian Wayne, and that new kid, whatever his fucking name is. And they were all telling a joke to this new kid. It wasn't really a joke. They were making the point that like everybody in this room has died at least once. Like every single Robin at that point had already been dead at least one time. And he didn't really believe them. He's like, what, you guys are seriously telling me you've all been dead? And they're like, yep, it's just a thing. Like, they even poked fun at it within the story. It's so I've seen people mention all these deaths as though they're permanent. And I just think, if you really feel that way, you're just not used to seeing comics play out.
Yeah, no, you could clearly tell these people had no real investment in these movies beyond the pop culture, you know, fad thing. I think that's why I made that comment I made this morning when I think about it, because I put out a tweet where I was like, it's funny how people are always wanting to show that they know something, but they never really want to show that they actually understand what they know. You know, it's like, sure, I know what these Marvel movies. Yeah, the Marvel movies, I've seen them all, but you don't understand what goes on in the particular genre. So when you saw all these deaths, I feel like, and yes, a lot of people, quote unquote, died in this movie. But we saw them, people were outraged. I in particular think black people, which embarrasses me as a black man, acted the worst because everybody was fucking like, I know, it's just disgusted about the Black Panther.
Oh.
And I'm like, huh?
Oh, I didn't notice the particular black reaction.
Oh, no. Shit. Black Twitter is fucking going nuts. Like, with that shit. Because it's like, why would you do this movie and have them like, this is what y'all do, Marvel? Gee, of course y'all gonna do this. After you got the most successful movie you had to this point, you gonna kill him off? Like, people, fucking movie. And again, this goes to the whole not paying attention thing. They announced within a month, less than a month of Black Panther out, that they're going to do another one because it's been so successful, and they're happy to work with all these people again. So how are you going to kill off the character unless you think they're going to do a flashback? No. Again, this goes back to you not understanding what you know about. Because if you understood, Marvel don't necessarily do that in the middle, let's flash all the way back thing. They do a flashback is to establish things, like what they're going to do with Captain Marvel, like what they did with Captain America.
Sure. Unless you wanted to make the argument that they were going to replace Panther, but that's pretty doubtful. I don't feel like he's so strong established at this point that they could do that. I don't feel like they have any interest in doing that. Like, the best you could possibly say is that maybe Shuri will act as the Black Panther, which I believe she has done in comics at one point, but
yeah,
we're not set up for that, so it's not.
Yeah, because it hasn't been established that she has, you know, she is going to be that. Like, now maybe you're going to get what a lot of people are trying to get. Again, people know that she has at one point been Black Panther. So I know a lot of people on Black Twitter who wants to see that. And it's like, well, what would be the reasoning behind this? And like, give me a reason. They don't care. We just want Black Fury because, you know, black girl magic. It's like, okay.
You're probably building yourself up for disappointment there. Yeah, I mentioned that because it's possible, not because it's likely.
Yeah, because they won't. Because if anybody who pays attention to the Marvel movies and the way they build their universe, they don't do anything unintentionally or just randomly just to satiate people. They have a purpose. They have a plan. They have gone back to. It's funny because the weird thing that makes these works, or the things that a lot of people would say shouldn't make them work, is that they took them like they would take a comic book. Usually when you get a story arc in a comic book, they've written that shit out. They're not just making this up on the fly. They have the arc built. It's just how we're going to execute it is where they have to work on, like, the scenes, the shots, the framing, the coloring, all that stuff. How we're going to make this scene look impactful, stuff like that. Marvel knows what they're doing. They already have it. Again, we know that there's going to be a second movie. So, and we know that the Russos have been going. I was just listening to them talk the other day at a premiere show. They were like, yeah, we've got planned. They were talking about the fourth movie openly. They're not hiding the fact that this is a two-parter. And they have a plan, and that they have everything worked out, how they're going to do it. So
I question whether people know. I mean, because like you said, they've been open about the fact that there's going to be a second part, and always, not like right before it released or something like that. I remember a long time ago, the idea that this was going to be a two-part movie, so this was not secret at any point.
Yeah, this happened months after they announced they're doing Infinity War.
Yeah, but like, I was even talking to a coworker the other day, and he hadn't seen the movie yet, and he asked me what I thought, and I didn't spoil it, but I was like, I was surprised by some of the reactions, considering we all know it's going to be a two-parter. And he's like, I didn't know that. I'm like, maybe I'm assuming too much of everybody to just know what they've been saying out loud for years.
Yeah, and this again, it goes back to that statement I made. Everybody knows something, but they don't understand it. They know that there's a Marvel movie, but they don't understand that this isn't the only part. That it's a two-part movie. They just know that there's an Infinity War movie, and this is supposed to, and they've only just gravitated to certain things. Like, everybody's like, this is a shitty way to end. Okay, they never said this was the end. They said that this is the end of this phase of Marvel, meaning this ends phase. What is this? Phase 3?
I don't know.
I think this is phase 3. This ends the phase 3 run, which was they had a block of movies, but they basically what Marvel has done in this 10-year run is like every 3 years or so they block off certain movies that they're going to do and bring you that builds towards towards the set piece, and now they're going to like do that because this ends this set piece arc, just like how the Avengers ended their first set piece, their second set piece arc. The first one was let's establish the characters, and the second one was now let's lead up to the Avengers and like start showing how we're going to glue them together, and then we finished it off with the Avengers. Then after that, it's like, okay, now let's build the arc towards the lead up to Thanos and things like that. And they built towards that. They brought in the characters, the chess pieces like Doctor Strange and Black Panther that they needed to bring in to fit into that puzzle and to fight in this fight, bringing in Spider-Man and whatnot. And then boom, we have the Infinity War. Now they're going to reset it again after they finish this off. And do not reset, but they're going to continue from that to wherever they're going to go. It's like, yeah, they've not been shy about this whole thing. They've been vocal. They hold fucking press conference before each phase to tell you this is what we're doing.
Yes, they've been very upfront about this. So when I was sitting in the theater and the movie ended, and I'm like, oh man, that was amazing. And I like hear everybody else's reaction. It's like
my theater was dead quiet. My theater was fucking quiet. Everybody was just like, oh. That is like, everybody's just like, well, like me, I was quiet because I was like, damn, I didn't expect them to do this. And what they did was when the movie ended, you see Thanos basically survives and gets what he wants, which was his whole goal in the movie was he figured he would balance the universe by getting rid of part of the population because
50%.
He felt like there was too many people. So if he cut out half the population of the universe, the lesser people will have more opportunities to thrive, grow, and survive without the dead weight. And he picked and choose who he wanted to, basically keep in the what have you.
It was random.
Well, that's right. He did say it was random because I remember he did the part where he was like, we kill rich, poor, it doesn't matter. We're not gonna discriminate. So he basically just like randomly selected people. It's like things like that made me mad at people's reaction because like he just told you he did a random selection thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So why they killed the black guy? Well,
yeah. It's like no, it wasn't. He didn't discriminate. He killed a fucking tree kid for God's sake.
I thought it was first of all, the shot when Panther dies is perfect because the angle it's shot at makes you think it's Okoye that disappears. Because it's like shot like he goes to pick her up and says something like,
general, there's no place for a general to die.
Yes, and then like right when he's picking her up, he fades away. And that shot, just that angle is
perfect. And like the look on her face, like, what the fuck? And like you see like M'Baku looking around on the battlefield, like, what the hell is going on here? Like, it's like everybody's like, whoa, what the worst, of course, was Peter. God damn it.
Yes. But on the Black Panther thing, I actually thought it was perfect to kill him and Peter for the same reason, by the way. It's because if this is truly random, you have to take out some of the top people. It can't just be like, all the lower tier characters are the ones that
disappear. It would have been way too easy to just knock off Okoye and M'Baku, sure. Knock off most of the Guardians except for Quill and
exactly. You had to take out the heavy ones. You had to take out, Quill is probably
more to the fact for a movie making experience like this, when you have to split this. Do y'all know how many characters there are in this MCU universe? Not everybody was in this movie. Again, we alluded to it earlier about there was no Ant-Man, there was no Hawkeye. I'm sure if we think about it, there was a lot more people that we probably didn't get on screen that we probably could have put on screen. Plus the fact that they have other people that introduce, like Captain Marvel. She's supposed to be in the mix. You have to wait to see what she's doing.
Assuming at some point they're going to introduce Adam Warlock.
Yeah, Adam Warlock wasn't in there. Where was the Nova Corps when all of Thanos is doing all of this craziness and stuff like that? You know what I mean?
He destroyed them.
There are people out there that they can bring in that they still have to add. And plus, to me, I thought it was brilliant because what they did was they kind of brought it back to the way things were. Like, this is like actually the real Avengers now have to fix this shit. Like the original 4 are the ones who have to fix this shit. And I think that's kind of like a cool thing, especially since everybody's expecting a major death out of one of those anyway. Now you probably will get your major death with them like finally saving everything and resetting everything. And this is like so many things that I've seen that are clues to like these deaths that people are screaming about aren't permadeaths. Like, first of all, the biggest clue of all should be Doctor Strange. Nobody paid attention to the fact that Doctor Strange sat there and went through over 14 million possibilities of how to fucking beat Thanos. And he found one. And he qualified that he found the one, in my opinion, when at the end, when Thanos like stabbed Stark, he was like, all right, I'll give you this as long as you spare his life.
He gave him the time stone.
He's like, I'll give you the time stone if you spare his life right now. And then as Tony's looking at him, he's like, why did you do that? He was like, we're in the end game now, before he faded away. Clearly, Tony needed to live. Tony needed to live for that one possibility to possibly have. Or else he wouldn't have given it away. Because he told Tony early in the movie, I don't care what the situation is. I don't care whether you're going to die or not. I'm not giving up that fucking stone. Yeah, he told Tony,
if it's between you, that kid, or the stone, I'm taking the stone.
Right.
And only after, like you said, like he went through all those possibilities and he saw whatever he saw. Because what he was doing was he was looking through like different timelines with his powers. And he found only one of them where they won. So after that, he seemed to have changed his mind and given up the time stone. But I thought him doing that was perfect. And like you said, it was a perfect teller for the fact that those deaths weren't permanent, because for him to change his mind on something so drastic and give Thanos the time stone means whatever opportunity he saw meant whatever timeline in which they won, it was at least one of the timelines where he gave Thanos the time stone, where Thanos temporarily won. Otherwise, why the fuck would he have done that?
Yeah, because it was he didn't have to. He fucking didn't have to save Tony Stark. He could have warped himself somewhere where Thanos couldn't fucking find him.
Sure. I feel like Thanos would have found that ass eventually, but
but he could have like done enough to where he possibly could have got to a place where maybe he even destroyed the time. So
I mean, one of the things about the Eye of Agamotto, which is the reason they couldn't just take it in the first place, is that there's like a spell on it that allows it to.
Yeah, because he put that. He even mentioned that he was like, one, I have a spell on it protecting it right now while I'm live. Two, if I die, good luck. He told them, good luck taking the spell off that I put if I die with this in this shit.
The Eye of Agamotto has to be given willingly. It cannot be taken. So
yeah,
that's the reason. Who captured him? It was fucking. Oh my god, I can't remember who captured him in the first place. But whoever captured him was trying to get it. They took his whole person with them because they couldn't get the Eye of Agamotto.
I forgot his name too, but yeah, because he told him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, fucking good luck. You want to take it? Sure. You ain't getting nowhere without me.
Yo, Doctor Strange was such a fucking badass in that movie.
Yeah, and that movie, like I told you the other day, like again, and see, this is the thing that upsets me the most about people's reactions. I haven't read comic books in probably over 20 years in my life. So I'm out of touch with a lot of the stuff, but I actually go and research, and I actually have people like Cardiac, like my boy Eurostrix, who still read and who give me like some information so I don't go in there one fucking blind and confused, and two, so I can at least have some kind of understanding of how things work. And like I was telling you, I had no idea that Doctor Strange was this fucking nice. But goddamn it, this movie made me want to see another Doctor Strange movie really bad because he was a fucking beast in this movie.
He's a fucking sorcerer supreme, bro.
Yeah,
master of the mystic arts.
If anybody ever lived up to their like moniker, he did. Goddamn, he was amazing.
Certainly, times where Strange is a badass. I think it depends on who's writing him at the time, but he is powerful.
Yeah, but no, I mean they did it. I thought they did a great job of how everybody got in the mix. Tom Holland. I know some people are talking about he's the best Spider-Man ever. I can't say no to that right now because that kid kills that role. I love the way he plays young Spider-Man. We haven't gotten that. And it's refreshing to see like baby Spider-Man actually grow up and call everybody Mr. Stark and Mr. Strange and like he's such a respectful young man. Like
I still feel odd about it, but yeah, it is refreshing because you're comparing him to Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, I think his name was. They were playing different Spider-Man. So I don't think that comparison is completely fair, but I take their point, I guess.
But no, I love like I said, I like him out of all three, at least the role that they're doing with him. I can't wholeheartedly say 100% he's the best ever.
I mean, I do think he hits that Spidey energy kind of well. It's like you have people think of Spider-Man
going with the plan against Thanos, and like he's like magic here, magic now, magic. He's like, dude, you're a fucking kid, just having fun with this shit. You're literally fighting the most fearsome thing in the world, and you're sitting here screaming magic now, magic, like leading Doctor Strange to when he's supposed to drop his portals for you. Like, what the fuck? Like you're playing a video game.
People think of Spidey as like just a smart aleck, which he is, but like I don't know how to describe it. There's just like a certain Spidey-ness that I think he hits fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, because you can see the intelligence is there, you can see the wit is there, but it's like also you're seeing he's maturing into like the role and gaining confidence and things like that. It's like, yeah, this arc with Spider-Man that they're doing, I think is going to be great because it's going to be a true origin. It's going to be a true like coming of age for Spider-Man, which we have not seen, which I think is cool. It's fun.
I do have to give him credit on the Iron Spider suit because when I first saw it, I did not give them credit. But I mean, when the extra arms pop out and he's actually using them, it looks amazing. Like, there's a scene where I think he catches Mantis and he's like rolling with her, and the spider arms like quickly spin around with him. Like, that's fucking awesome. That looks amazing. The visuals, the way they animated that, it was
also attention to detail because he mentions that these like, but people who saying that makes no sense. to stuff like that. He actually mentions why it makes sense why it would do that, because when he gets the suit and he's trying out, it's like, wow. He tells Mr. Stark, like, this is amazing. It's an intuitive nanotechnology that like follows what I needed to do. Like, okay, cool. I'm good with that.
You don't need that much of an explanation for that.
No, it's like, but it makes sense because it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's nice that they didn't just act like it wasn't
they didn't
weird.
dumb it down, but they also didn't fucking like,
Yes.
you know.
They acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Which is all you should really ask for. So
yeah. They're like, okay, this is why the suit is badass. You know? So yeah, no. The beats that they hit, the moment, and like I said, it was really amazing that everybody got to do something really ill. Even the secondary characters. It's like seeing Black Widow and Okoye fight that chick and like team up. Like that was bad. And fucking Groot was in there with like wasting people. Bucky going nuts with Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, some team ups you don't always think of. I will say one thing. I don't think we got. Maybe I missed it. I don't think we got an explanation for why Widow is blonde right now in the movie.
Nah.
Nor did we really get much interaction between her and Banner, which hopefully the next stop. But
I just feel like Scarlett Johansson wanted a new look. I was like, fuck it. I just wanted to change.
Yeah, fuck it. Who cares? They can color it different in the comics, I guess.
Plus,
I mean,
again,
whatever.
She's a spy of S.H.I.E.L.D., so fuck, she might have been on a mission at the time when they called her.
That's just, you can just say something. It doesn't really matter to me that much. Just address it.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to see a little bit more interaction between her and Banner, but again, it was quite a packed movie. It doesn't kill me that they didn't get to interact that much. And since they're two of the few survivors, I hope that they interact a bit more in the second movie.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
So I was sad because I was really wanting to see what the fuck was going on there, but I can wait, I guess.
I think she's going to be pivotal, especially since we didn't get to see the Hulk like the trailers. By the way, bravo on your trailers for making us think that the Hulk was actually in there. Hulk got his ass whipped in the first 5 minutes and disappeared. Never saw the Hulk again.
Perfect.
By the way, it was beautiful. It was like, yeah, the Hulk was like, nah, I'm a bitch. Thanos made me cry. Fuck you, Bruce. We're not doing this no more.
I thought it was exactly what the fuck they needed to do. For people who haven't seen Thanos, the Mad Titan Thanos before, to really establish that this motherfucker is a threat. We haven't seen.
He Samoa Joe'd him. I just realized that. He not only did he beat his ass, he enjoyed the fight. Enjoyed fighting. Like, you fucking scary. He's Samoa Joe.
I mean, if you look at a lot of the villains in these movies, I don't think any of them are like, they sort of were at Thanos level. Like, we haven't seen, like, I don't know, Galactus, or I guess we saw Apocalypse in one of those movies, but it wasn't like the Marvel movies. It was Fox's shit. Like, we haven't seen a villain at quite this level. They're usually much smaller fry. So I thought it was very important to establish that even with, without using the stones themselves, Thanos is quite capable by himself. This dude's a fucking problem for anybody any day of the week. So I thought Smashing Hulk was a perfect way to establish that for people who are not familiar with him.
Yeah.
Thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Is Valkyrie dead?
Good question.
Was she on that ship with the rest of them?
I don't think I didn't see her.
I was trying to remember,
I was wondering that. I was like, because where's Valkyrie? I was really wondering where she was. I'm assuming she wasn't, though.
I was trying to remember how Ragnarok ended. Like, was she on the ship with them, or did she go somewhere else?
And see, I haven't seen Ragnarok, to my dismay. I haven't watched it. That's the only one I haven't watched is Ragnarok.
It's not bad. I have a coworker who argues like it's one of his favorite movies. I'm like, I just don't want to put it quite that high. But that's because I have a thing against Thor. Jane Foster is my Thor.
Yeah, I understand. Thor
Fuck that Odin son dude. I'm just saying. That fool ain't worthy. That's why he lost the hammer in the first place, because he's an unworthy bitch.
Speaking of which, did you find it weird that they put Stormbreaker in? Because I found out what Stormbreaker was, and I was like, oh, really?
I was surprised. I mean, I don't know. I assumed that they were going. I don't know. I find it odd.
I mean, it kind of makes sense though, because it is like a very powerful weapon. So, and especially since there were rumors that Beta Ray was possibly going to show up eventually.
I mean, I assumed that they were going to make him a weapon, but I didn't realize it was going to be Stormbreaker. I thought it was going to be Jarnbjorn, his fucking axe. I didn't. So I was surprised when they introduced Stormbreaker for him like that.
You know what I think they did? What I think they did was they saw God of War and realized that Leviathan just too badass.
Leviathan
And that,
awesome.
You know what, they needed to like try to like one up Sony Santa Monica. And then they were like, we'll show you. And they brought out Stormbreaker. I think that's what it was.
My hope is that this fool has Stormbreaker because Jane Foster's about to pick up a real Mjolnir. I'm just saying, fuck this Odinson guy. He ain't worthy. He's an unworthy ass bitch. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, for what it's worth, they made his role very, very good.
I mean, yeah,
I like his arc. I actually like the arc that they're taking with him in this.
I didn't like that they replaced his eye. They should have left the eye patch. In fact, they should have cut off one of his arms.
He actually does look like more of a badass if he had the eye patch, but
they should have
find that funny.
They should have tried to match his current look in the comics and just cut off one of his arms. Because he's rocking like this metal arm nowadays, and like I think it's kind of sick. I hate him, but it's cool.
I guess they figured we have a one armed badass. We don't need another one right now.
Who? Oh yeah, Bucky's around. We should have killed him along with Thor.
By the way, isn't it weird that Bucky was basically the only person with a gun? Well, him and Rocket. To be fair, Rocket has.
But Rocket had like it was like an alien gun. Like,
yeah, like Rocket gets all types of like special weapons that he steals and buys and shit like that. But like, yeah, Bucky just had a fucking, submachine gun.
It made me feel good that he was that Rocket was admiring some human technology.
Yeah, like, the Rocket line. He was like, "How much for that arm?" And he was like, "It's not for sale." So I'm gonna get that arm. Rocket is hilarious. The whole interaction between Thor and the Guardians was hilarious too. Rabbit, it's just like I'm sitting there like, dude, when is Rocket gonna finally flip on him? It's like, I'm a fucking raccoon, you jackass.
I think he was too excited to go to what was it, Nidvillier? It was the which I believe
he was like, oh shit, all the shit I'm gonna get now. Fuck yeah.
I believe that's like the land of the dwarves in their mythology or something, but
yeah.
Which is interesting that it was in space around a dwarf star. That was cool.
But yeah.
Expand that, cosmology they got going on there.
And Peter Dinklage being a giant dwarf.
What do you think about Dick Groot the entire movie?
It was funny because he was just basically being a teenager. You really are playing up this fact that he's growing up again, aren't you? He's just being a dick teenager. Like, God, dude.
I mean, he was disinterested the entire movie until he used his
playing defender out of all games. Like, dude.
I mean, he probably got that game from Quill though, right? So
yeah, he had to, because Quill does. What was that line Quill says? Like, was something like, was Cyndi Lauper or something from the '80s still the greatest thing ever? And they were like, no. Like,
I always wonder if people get the fact that Quill hasn't been on Earth since then, because they always be like, Guardians has like this like '80s vibe, and it's like, well, yeah,
it's like this kid left Earth when he was like, the mid '80s as a 10-year-old, and he's had nothing but like his mixtapes from when he was a kid.
Like the music choices in those movies are not like coincidence or just for no reason. It's just kind of
it's like people think like, oh, this is just a random vibe. It's like, no, this is this guy. He's never experienced anything beyond. He has no clue. Like, he probably does. Like, if you ask him who Beyonce was, he'd probably look at you like an idiot. Like,
there's a reason he didn't know what the fuck the Avengers were.
Yeah,
when probably everybody on Earth knows that by now.
Yeah, it's like I don't go back to Earth. I'm chilling out here. I mean, look at Gamora. Would you go back home for this? Like, no.
Yeah.
By the way, the Gamora thing, that was fucking, and that's what makes me hate Thanos the most, because he fucking like sacrificed his goddamn daughter just for the goddamn stone.
I mean, daughter. To put some quotes around that shit.
His daughter, because he stole her and murdered her mom and made her his daughter. Like, god damn it.
Yeah.
This asshole. By the way, Red Skull. Didn't expect that.
No. I mean, I was surprised by that.
Like,
So
hey.
he just been like sitting there all this time, just
Yeah, it's like I've just been chilling.
that's fucked up.
Like, okay, yeah, I exist here. I just don't do shit.
That's be cursed with that shit. God damn.
Yeah.
But Thanos got he sacrificed little Miss Gamora.
Yeah, he got
And felt
so
bad about it. But I mean,
that's to cry. He's a son of a bitch.
but it established how driven he is, because I think that's one of the reasons that makes, well, to somebody like me, Killmonger so fucking annoying, and to some other people, what makes him so interesting is because they're just so committed to certain ideas that they cannot be moved no matter what. They're absolutely certain that they are right, and there's no level of reason that they can shake that certainty.
Yeah, more like to the point too is that while what they do is twisted, you see the thread of like understandability. It's like, I get what you're trying to say. I just don't think the way that you're doing this is the way that you should be going about trying to solve the problems. Like, yeah, I get it, Killmonger. Black people have been oppressed around the world by colonizers, quote unquote, for decades, centuries almost. And things should change. I just don't agree with your way of making things change is how it's supposed to go. Same thing with Thanos. Like, I get it. People were suffering, starving. It would be nice if you had a world where everybody could, we all could be on the same level. But killing half these people without choice ain't the way to level things. It's like there has to be another way to try to do this instead of just murdering half the populace. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you get them, and you hate that you get them because they're fucking monsters. And then they go over the top and do these over the top things that make you have even worse, hate them more, and hate yourself in a way because you have something. There's something to their madness that you can agree to in a way. It is sick.
I mean, yeah, they sprinkled a few grains of truth in the madness soup there, and they have a small grain of truth, but they always push it to the most extreme possible interpretation of that. Like, Black people have been oppressed. They should become the oppressors and go to war with the planet Earth.
Right. What the fuck?
Like, it's not that the base idea itself is insane. It's that it gets used by an insane mind to push it too far beyond any realm of agreeability. So I think the comparison between him and Thanos is a perfect one because they're motivated in quite the same way, with the same level of absolution there. Because again, like, I'm sure some people didn't like Thanos being somewhat humanized there, but I thought it was the perfect way to address that because it shows, he's not just evil. Like, he believes this shit straight up, and he will sacrifice anything to fucking do it.
Yeah, no. And that's why I thought the ending was perfect because, again, we tend to get movies like this, especially when there's like, there's going to be another part where they end with sort of a cliffhanger, or it's like maybe you get like the heroes take like a small beating, but they resolve to come back at the end. Thanos won. Like, you seriously leave with the impression that this motherfucker has gotten what he wants. He's at peace. He's on the planet like that, the way he wants it to be, and the universe is where he wants it. And he's just sitting down, chilling, reflecting on the shit that he, went through to get what he wants. But it's like, yo, I have everything I want.
I thought it was perfect because, going in, I thought, and I'm sure a lot of us thought, if we were trying to guess at like what the flow of the movie is based on other movies we've seen, we'd probably think of it as like a calm start, building up toward halfway point, I guess. Then we'd like start to settle down a bit before we jack back up into, the next portion of the movie. I think it was great that we had that crescendo throughout and then fell back down again, because the comics are like that. Sometimes the bad guy wins for a second,
Yeah.
That's why the use of death and rebirth in comics is so valuable, because it gives you a chance to see them win. Like I was talking to you about the Secret Empire story that got a hell of a lot of flack when it came out. It depicts an evil Captain America, and he wins for a time. Like he takes over America. He is the ruler of America for a little bit. He beats out the Avengers. He's doing all kinds of crazy shit. Sometimes you need the bad guy to win, if only to give the good guys something to fight against again. It can't just be like the good guys mounting up to this climax and then just stomping them out every single time. That's stupid and not realistic anyway.
By the way, I was sitting here rendering a particular episode of Her View, and Katina's reaction just flipped on this. It reminded me of it. It's like, oh, wait. I'm such a dick.
Yeah, you are. But I don't know. I'm very upset about the reactions toward this movie, because it's like, you guys have been given something awesome and you didn't know how to fucking appreciate it. Because,
I try to temper my anger, but it's hard because I get it. And like I said to you when I sent you that stupid article that a guy on Huffington Post wrote about, this is when money takes over for movies and you don't think about your like fan base and all. It's like, dude, nothing you said makes sense. This has always been designed to go this way. They've been candid about it. This isn't a money drop ending. Like,
if anything, it's weirdly in line with comics, considering it's that sounds like I'm being sarcastic.
Like I said, the one thing that people said makes comic book movies hard to make, they've actually cultivated to making it easy to make like work in these movies.
And it does work. I think you guys, a lot of these people hype themselves up on some weird ideas, which people tend to do anyway. Like that idea that Captain America was going to die because of that one scene in the trailer where like the gauntlet is on him. I was like,
yeah,
he could, but I feel like you're reading way too much into that.
Yeah, but, and I think it's funny because a lot of people were saying leading up that these trailers were way too spoilery. And you know what? Bravo, Marvel, for making people think that, because the things that they thought that were spoilery, it spoiled shit. You had no clue what was coming.
I didn't think they were spoiler, that they spoiled anything at all, because they didn't really seem all that telling to me.
But that's the thing. It's like people are so in the rush to know stuff. They don't necessarily understand what's going on. It's like, yeah, we know that this is somebody's going to die, because clearly, look at this. Captain America is holding up the hand. Somebody major's going to die. And then the whole theory is like, yeah, that's the swerve because it's going to be Tony Stark. And like, no, Thor's going to die because they're going to kill off a major person. And it's like, yeah, Marvel will just let you take whatever you want it from there.
It's fun to do that and all, but the reason I say that is because it's fine to have your own theories, but you guys get so invested in them, you start thinking about them as facts, and then you end up surprised when they don't happen. It's like,
and then you get mad.
Like this idea that Captain America was going to die was largely based on that scene in the trailer, and I looked at that and I'm like, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me that they showed that.
Yeah. I was making fun of it because I remember a friend of mine was posted on Facebook how like he's gonna be so upset when Captain dies. I was like, and I posted a picture of Bucky and Sam Wilson together. I was like, well, luckily for us, he has backups already in place. Like,
can you imagine what would happen if Sam Wilson stepped up in the
oh my God. Sam Wilson was to take up the mantle next instead of Bucky. People would throw shit fit. Oh my God.
I mean, there were plenty of people not happy when he did it in the comics. Which I actually thought his costume was really sick. I don't know why. I just always liked the way Sam Wilson, Captain America, looks in the Captain America costume, the shit on his back and flying and shit. I don't know. Fuck me. I just like it.
No.
But I can't imagine the amount of people like, oh my God, they killed off the white guy to put a black guy in the role. Fucking
liberals.
White genocide.
Right. Like, but no, the movie was frame perfect. I would say the only other thing I just like was watching Peter. Poor Peter.
Yeah, that was awkward.
But yeah, I legit wanted to cry because I was just like, damn, kid.
I'm glad they did it. Don't spare the child. Kill him too.
But no, it shows like Thanos don't care. He just needs to get his plan.
Yeah. It's random. It's fair. I thought the Black Order was going to be more, I don't know, dangerous. I mean, they were quite dangerous. It's just,
yeah, you were expecting like a lot more from them though, because
I'm pretty sure they all died in this movie, and I wouldn't
have
expected that.
They did.
Like any one of those people are fairly dangerous by themselves, even without Thanos in particular. They're all a threat. Like,
but no, you saw Black Widow kill dude. Was like no fucking. Or was it Scarlet? No, it was Black Widow who killed him.
I thought it was Scarlet Witch.
I thought it was Black Widow because I remember the girl made a comment to like when they were about to fight with Okoye, like you're gonna pay for what you did.
Yeah, and then Scarlet Witch joined in that fight, so it was like a girl power moment there. But I don't remember exactly how she died. I think she got thrown under one of those like rolly things.
Yeah, she did. She got smushed.
Yeah, I was expecting more out of those guys. Which, whatever. But it does make me wonder, like, how is the next movie going to work? Because the Black Order is gone. So.
Oh, are they? Because are there any more members of that, or were they it?
I feel like those were like the main members. I think there's like other people, but
yeah.
Like, those are the ones I tend to think about when I think of them. Proxima Midnight, Ebony Maw, Black Dwarf.
But at the same time, I'm not surprised they did because, as I told Katina, no Marvel villain tends to live. Loki was the only one that survived like more than 3 movies. So
you could make the argument he's not a villain.
It's funny because I think before him, the only person with longevity, oddly enough, was Claw, and that was 2 movies.
I think it's yes, Loki is a villain. I don't know. I find it a bit of a stretch to still say that. What,
that Loki's a villain?
I mean, he was always being casted in a bit of a sympathetic light. And so, even in this movie, he just stood up to Thanos essentially. Like, he wasn't a hero, but villain, yeah.
Yeah, at best, he probably was just an anti-hero. You know, it's like.
I guess he was a villain in like the first Avengers movie. That dude was a badass in that movie. Until Thor stopped him.
The argument that he wasn't too because he was working for someone. It's like it was like, don't mind me, I'm just here to.
I don't think we realized that though until either the end or reference in some other movie. Like it wasn't. You didn't spend the entire time in the original Avengers thinking like Loki is just an underling of somebody else.
Right. Until the shit broke. By the way, what do you think they're going to do now with the TV shows now that this happened?
They're always going to be canceled.
You know, I'm curious because I was listening to somebody talk about it and he made a good point. And he was like, you know, they made mention of the incident in Daredevil and Luke Cage and what's her name? Shit. I just totally Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah. the incident came up a couple of times in those shows. It's like, what's going to happen now, especially now? You know, because a lot of that shit like has to come up about there. And that's another thing. Like, I was wondering, like, will some of them show up in the movies? Because you got leeway now to actually bring them in.
If you
Since you're
want
missing
a Luke Cage cameo, I guess. I don't feel like it's necessary, but
no, it's not necessary. But it would be cool just to see them acknowledge the existence, you know, the cross between that stuff.
Like, I don't watch any of those shows, so it's hard.
I don't need to see randomly John Barathol just come up and just like shooting people, and they're like, "What's going on? Why are they feeding him? I want to kill him with my bullets." You know,
the movie is gonna start, and it's gonna be like Thanos like watching a sunset, and then Punisher's just gonna like slide up from behind, like, you thought you would get away with this shit.
and do that like strange, weird tribal grunt that he does when he's like basically hulking up the fight. Like, dude, calm down. I need you to get back. Get on your medicine.
Everybody gets punished, bro.
Right. That would be fun. It would be hilarious if the end game was they find Punisher and he snipes Thanos.
I'm just waiting for like this big battle, and then Thanos beats them again, and then Punisher just walks up and shoots him with a gun in the head.
Right. It's like, y'all could have made this so much easier than that y'all did.
Simple. Bang bang. Not hard.
Oh my god, that would be so fucking dumb. That would be a great troll, though.
I feel like
that would make it the perfect ending to the arc, because everybody would lose their shit and just like die. I would be the only one in there loving it. Oh man.
I mean, Punisher would introduce a level of darkness we don't see in most of the movies. Although this movie was kind of dark, I guess, but it's not Punisher dark.
Well, nothing's Punisher dark. Punisher's just like, even bad Punisher movies are darker than this. Like, no.
So are we gonna? I hope this isn't the case, but are we gonna get like white Vision, like that blank slate Vision after this?
And see, that's another thing. Like, people will speculate. I speculate too. Like, Vision's not dead. Shuri saved part of him. We know Shuri has part of him, so they could bring that fool back.
But is he gonna be like? He's not gonna be. Is he gonna be blankish Vision? I don't know if that dude has a name, but the not fully there Vision.
Well, he can't be, because some of his stuff is gone. It went with the Mind Stone.
Because I don't want to see like Vision without any emotion. That's too depressing for me.
No, I think she probably saved enough of him that you get kind of him, but I think there's going to be holes, and there's going to be, you know.
I'm glad Corvus stabbed him first, because like I think Vision is pretty powerful, and if you hadn't done that, it would have been hard to convince me that he shouldn't be putting up more of a fight than he did.
Yeah.
Like, the first thing he does, blam, right through the chest with that fucking spear.
Yeah, and to stop him from phasing and everything. Like, yep, we'll keep you here, sir.
It was the perfect way to make it reasonable to me that Vision wasn't putting up more of a fight, because Vision's a fucking badass. So
yeah,
I was expecting more, but it made sense.
Yeah. Like I said, a lot of what they did in the movie, they just made sure to make it sensible.
Sure,
which I appreciate it.
I was surprised to care about Scarlet Witch, because I don't really give a shit about Scarlet Witch ever.
Yeah, who ever gave a fuck about Scarlet Witch? Even when she was like in the X-Men comic books as a villain or as a hero. No, nobody cares about her and her brother. That's why they were able to kill off her brother like they did, because who the fuck cares about this character? Like, go ahead, Fox. You can have all the Quicksilver you want. Nobody gives a damn about this dude.
I see her in comics now, and I'm just like, it's cool you exist, I guess. She's in a relationship with Dr. Voodoo or whatever, which I think is funny, but just because I think that dude's name is funny.
Dr. Voodoo. I just see like Xavier Woods from those Southpaw wrestling skits.
I mean, I don't know. She's one of the characters I never give a fuck about. not hating on her, just I don't know
need to
why.
look this guy up because if he looks anything like
Excuse
Xavier
me.
Woods,
Have I been saying Dr. Voodoo? I meant Brother Voodoo. I'm sure.
it's even worse.
I'm sure there's some comic fans that have been shitting on me because I feel like I said Dr. Voodoo a few times, so that's not.
It's fine because both names are horrible. Like that's a goddamn abomination of a character name. Sorry, people. My God, his hair is kind of like Xavier Woods.
You know what? I think he goes by Doctor too. It's weird with superheroes because they have like different aliases, which always bothers the shit out of me. But
this guy is Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods was born to play this guy in a movie.
if the black people want a Doctor Strange of their own,
he's gonna come to the world and like throw pancakes in the face of his villain.
I'm sure. You know, this is gonna be like a Doctor Strange sequel at some point. I'm sure Brother Voodoo will be introduced.
If Mordo don't kill him first.
Somehow, you know, Mordo's gonna like grow dreads, and then they're just gonna be like, but he's really Brother Voodoo. Because Marvel has no goddamn self-control.
I find the alias, by the way, funny for this guy. Because one of his aliases is Dr. Voodoo, so you're right.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about getting eviscerated. They call his one of the aliases Dr. Voodoo, but they also call him Sorcerer Supreme. You can't steal that.
I think he was the Sorcerer Supreme at one point.
Okay. Whatever Hongan Supreme is, I don't know. Lord of the Loa. He who has died twice, Voodoo Lord, Master of all reptiles, the Voodoo, and the Spirit World. Okay. Sure, you're right.
Brother Voodoo.
Okay, cool.
What I'm waiting for is Squirrel Girl to come save the day. That's all I'm saying about that. The whole reason that Thanos won is because Squirrel Girl didn't step up. That's it. That's all I'm saying. You know, she was there. This should have been taken care of. Instead of Tony, you know, had to be like an arrogant little bitch. Like, let's fight Thanos with like, you know, the two of us, the kid and this guy I hate. I've got a wizard and a teenager. I can fight Thanos.
He is Sorcerer Supreme. Thank you.
But I mean, Tony was not on board with that shit. Like, it seemed like the extreme example of arrogance to me that he even went after Thanos. It's like, yeah, well, I don't know what he thought. Maybe he could handle Thanos by himself. Because it's not like you know Strange. And even if you did, you don't seem to trust him that much.
I feel like he was just like all about, this is something that I've had to deal with, and this seemingly is my destiny. I got to take care of this shit one way or another and end it, because it's going to haunt my life if I don't. Somebody
was making the point that Stark has gotten like the most development out of all those Marvel characters, because he's like, this thread has been following him since his own movies started.
Yeah.
Through Avengers and through like Ultron, which he had responsibility for, and all this shit. He's had the longest like build as a character, which is still fucking weird to me because I just don't remember growing up thinking anything about Iron Man. So
yeah, again, Iron Man was not that important, but he seems to be the most important person in the whole universe right now.
His armor was badass.
Yeah, that armor is really good.
That shit was OP, yo.
Yeah, it was. But not to Thanos though, because Thanos knocked chunks of that shit off. Like, goddamn, Thanos, you fucking.
He beat the dog shit out of that man.
Lord, you're a fucking beast. Just calm down. Last thing before we wrap up, because it's getting late. We've been doing it for 3 hours. God damn it. But I'm glad I got to get this out of the system and talk to a reasonable person about this movie. Talk about this movie with a reasonable person. Thank God, because a lot of y'all are just fucking dumb. Like, I see people putting memes of this thing. They show Chadwick Boseman doing the Wakanda thing, but he's not really smiling. And somebody was like, you know why he's not smiling? They're like, come on. He's probably not smiling because he's getting tired of y'all like asking him questions. He's tired of this whole trip. He knows he's getting another paycheck.
Those memes of people disappearing and getting cold-blooded, though.
Oh man, the John Cena one I sent you. God damn.
Yo.
I was like, oh, that's not right.
This shit is getting out of control.
It is. Everything is all getting out of control.
Like, I don't know if there's like some tool that they're using to get that effect, but now that they can do it, they're just going ape shit.
It's the world we live in and the internet, I tell you. But last thing I want to talk about the insane. Now I didn't recognize the insignia, and I'm glad you told me. But the Miss Marvel thing, how important do you think she's going to be to all this? Like,
I don't know.
I called her Miss Marvel again. I don't know why Captain Marvel.
I mean, she was Miss Marvel once upon a time.
Yeah,
I think it's an interesting question because, and maybe Strix will disagree with me on this tomorrow. I feel like in comics, when she took on the Captain Marvel moniker, like they've really rebranded her, because when she was Miss Marvel, she like wasn't important within the whole Marvel landscape. She was just like a person. I don't think she was particularly relevant, but when they rebranded with her, as part of that Marvel 2.0 thing, 2.0 shit that happened, I feel like they've been pushing her slowly to a more prominent role. And I was saying when we were going back and forth on Twitter, I think that if done right, she could be the answer to DC's Wonder Woman, because that's all DC really has going for them at this point, is that they've nailed a couple of female characters between Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn. And I'm sure Black Widow fans are going to slap me in the face for this, but I don't think Black Widow is that prominent in the MCU. I don't think any woman is that prominent in the MCU, period. But I think if Captain Marvel is done right, she could be. So if, from a marketing standpoint, I think, they could make her something special. I think she's interesting. I think she's got a lot going for her. But
yeah, and I want to know what's going to be her role in the movies.
As an Avenger, I don't know. I don't know how she fits into all this. I was expecting her to be introduced as part of this one, so I have no idea.
In a way, I'm glad they didn't, though, because
I'm glad too. It is, especially because of the way this movie ended. It's like so.
Yeah, it would be kind of hard to explain how she just all of a sudden came out of the blue.
And why wasn't she there for this? If
get the chance to do her movie, because her movie's supposed to be kind of like Captain America, like it's going to be an origin story.
It's fine if it is, but
it definitely is, because they've already said like Samuel L. Jackson is in it, but he's going to somehow be in it as young Nick Fury.
I mean, with the movie they got, with the money they got, their special effects.
Yeah, there's a picture. I haven't looked at it yet, but apparently there's pictures floating around that Marvel put out of young Nick Fury.
I'm sure they can blow it off, but I was gonna say they have to explain why she didn't participate in this, but I guess that's pretty easy to explain. You could just say she was out in space. I mean, yeah, Captain Marvel is,
because you remember Sam Jackson, this is a code red, and remember Sam Jackson kind of initiated the whole plan against Thanos, because again, since the first Iron Man, we've been aware that he's trying to get this team together for this purpose.
Sure.
So maybe this movie the Captain Marvel movie is going to explain why she's quote unquote code red.
She's pretty strong, so I mean, I'm trying to think of like her powers list. She's energy beams and shit, flight, strength. She's could be a badass if done right. I think that could be very interesting.
Yeah,
it's the superhuman strength, speed, stamina, durability, energy, projection, and absorption, flight, blah, blah, blah. The typical Superman-esque type power set.
So there you go. Superman comes save the day.
Or I guess you could say a Wonder Woman-esque type power set, except she can shoot out energy and absorb it. So like an extra ability. I think it's interesting. I'm very curious to see how they fit her in. And again, I'm not shitting on Black Widow or Gamora or Scarlet Witch, but none of them are quite like that prominent female, or Okoye, I guess, or Shuri, whatever. I'm sorry, none of them are at that level. They're just not, period.
Yeah.
And I think Captain Marvel could be, and she could punch Wonder Woman in the face.
It's gonna be so cool to see how that comes out. I hope it does very, very well.
And
it'll be weird to see the girl from fucking Scott Pilgrim as a superhero.
I feel like anytime I see the images of that, I just don't buy it. Like, I need to see her in an actual trailer or a movie or something. Because, like,
yeah, I need to see this shot because, like, just seeing her in the suit does nothing for me.
I think it hurts. I feel like they need to stop releasing shit like that because it's misleading a lot of the times. Because it's like, it's just them on set. It's not like them in the actual setting with the actual special effects going. It makes it look weird, like she's doing like a lazy cosplay or something.
Yeah.
It's not just her. They do that a lot where they just have to release these images.
No, I thought the same thing with Ant-Man when they kept showing the Ant-Man shit.
Exactly. Like, maybe you shouldn't.
Like, especially with who they got. Because, again, like, no disrespect to Brie Larson, but again, every time I see her, all like this here is, hello, my friend to the end. Like her and what's his name with the blonde hair on stage, singing the song to Scott Pilgrim and his girlfriend.
And it's weird because Marvel knocks all their movies out, so you can probably assume it's going to be be But anytime I see that image, I'm just like, I don't buy this.
Yeah,
I buy her as Captain Marvel because you showed me this shit. I just don't fucking buy it.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that they're gonna really do a good job, and then, boom.
But I hope Marvel continues on their path. Like, I'm so mad about some of these fans' reactions to this shit because it's like, it's people like you that fuck up a good thing. Because I don't want Marvel to react to this and be like, well, I guess we can't do cool shit anymore because...
You know what? I don't think Marvel cares at this point.
It gives a brand? Because, I mentioned that...
well, when I say don't care, I mean, it's like, we know what we're doing and we got where we're going. This movie has already fucking made tons of money. It's reviewed well. People are going to go see it regardless of the reaction.
I mean, they should. It's just
like a lot of people kind of shitted on Age of Ultron too, and fucking look at that.
That movie's good. Like,
yeah,
but
people shitted on it and still made like gobs of money. So they're fine. They don't care. They're like, okay, we know what we're doing. Y'all just sit back and relax.
So the reason it bothers me is because you look at a movie like this, and it should be like a historic movie, like the way the first Avengers was. It was like, as far as like the culture, the comic book movie thing, it was a history-making moment. And this, Avengers Infinity War was supposed to be like this massive, insane, big moment for like the comic book culture, I guess. And I feel like those fans are fucking it up a little bit because they don't know how to appreciate fucking anything. They always have to. It's the same reason, I brought up the Secret Empire thing. I think that story has its problems. But people got so invested in this idea that there was like this Nazi sympathizer story, even though a bunch of them admittedly never fucking read it in the first place because they were taking some sort of weird moral high ground, that they missed out on what I think was a very beautiful and useful story. I think, they're fucking up this great moment because they're just ignorant, I guess. I don't know what their problem is. Like, if you just didn't like it, whatever. You don't have to like it. Like, I'm not telling you like you're.
And that's the thing. I don't think anybody, the loud minority, hates the movie. It's hate that it didn't do what they wanted to do for them.
I don't like. It would bother me less if you didn't like it for intelligent reasons, because I think there's a way to say you don't like something and give good reasons versus just the dumb reason.
Yeah, like the biggest thing that people take away is the deaths. They're screaming mad about the deaths. Like, but did you like the movie? You're so fixated on these deaths. What about the movie?
How many superheroes can you name that haven't died? Come I mean, nowadays,
that's the thing. But that's what I focus on because it's like they all. Because it's funny. When I was talking to people, I went. They're not comic book people. They're not like into that stuff and all that. And I just made sure to tell them, like I told somebody else who asked me if I saw it. He was like, "I heard some things, man. I don't know." It's like, I heard people died, and like I told him, and I told them. Remember, you're watching a comic book movie. Nobody really dies.
I'm not sure if that resonates because like, you know, I'm more used to seeing like, especially with the Infinity Gauntlet itself, like the nature of it.
Yeah, from what I understand, didn't
like,
he like in the comic book do the same thing somewhat? Where he offed a bunch of people?
Yep. That but I mean, especially in comics, because you have like different objects that fuck with reality anyway, or in comics there's like time travel and all this crazy stuff.
All the stuff that they were saying, like again, didn't read the Infinity Gauntlet thing. I had to be filled in by you, Eurostrix, other people. But even as I'm watching it, I'm just sitting there like, okay, so he has a stone that can change time. He has a stone that basically the soul stone has to do with life. He can manipulate life in a way. He has the reality stone where he can make reality whatever he wants. So who's to say that the reality that he wants is actually reality if someone wants to revert back to actual reality? It's like all these things that he has components that led to his accomplishment seem to me like if this thing can do it, it can also reverse, like it actually did reverse back Vision's first death when they broke the stone. They broke the fucking Mind Stone. It was done. And this guy took his thing and reverted back to a point where he could take it. So it's like, if he can do that, why can't somebody else do that? Like, people, like it just takes a little bit of like energy, like to put thought to that.
I mean, again, in comics, like they're just basic logic. You have a thing that can fuck with reality here. That's the perfect escape to get back to wherever you want, right? Like, fuck. Again, I bring it up with the Secret Empire thing when they were like, oh, they turned Captain America into this fucking thing. How was he turned? Using the fucking oh my god, the fucking cube. It was a
rat. Or was it something like that?
Comics, but essentially like that. Like, it would be weird to explain, but it was a thing that fucks with reality. Is the reason he turned evil in the first place. Like, there was a person that literally like rewrote his reality and his history. That's why he was like that. And everybody was screaming mad, like, they turned Captain America into this fucking thing. But I'm like, there's the object right there that turned him into that. Why do you think they can't turn him back? Like, they built in their own escape clause as part of the story, which is essentially what happened anyway. Obviously, so.
Yeah, and I guess it goes back to that statement I made earlier about you know what happened, but you don't understand how. You just know something, and you just run with it instead of understanding the dynamics of the whole thing.
Sure. Before we close off, if they, do some sort of universe reset, do you think anything will change?
Not significantly, except for I feel like now because of the timing of the Fox thing, you may get in scenes that hint towards them actually bringing in the rest of the people. Like I really 100% feel like you're not going to see any X-Men or X-Men universe references. However, I seriously feel like they're going to drop some Fantastic Four shit in there. I really feel like you're going to get hint. Like somebody's going to hint that they're going to like take this and we're going to get this analyst and maybe like whoever lives like, well, I know this doctor. Just really, really brilliant. He might be able to help you. He studies a lot of like astrological things.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain we're somehow going to get a Squirrel Girl in this universe. It's happening.
I mean, she is going to be in the universe
because as part of because in comics when you have these opportunities to kind of like reset the universe, small things can change. It's a nice excuse to retcon shit in comics. So I don't know if they're actually going to do that in the movies.
Yeah, no, I just think that they're going to tweak it where you're going to get mention of these new things that are coming, these components. I think if there are any major deaths, it's going to be out of, like I said, the original 4. And you'll probably get or you're gonna have them on hiatus. I still truly believe that this is their way of setting it up so they can move forward with Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, everybody but Captain America, or at least everybody but Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. I think the Hulk he still has to finish his arc, but
yeah, get these fuckers out of the way, man. It's been enough.
But yeah, it's like, yeah, this is just like them segue into, we're gonna have like just a slightly different like we're gonna move on to the new people that we want to bring. That's why they're talking about doing the Black Widow movie, and that's why they flirted with the eye of a Black Widow Hawk Eye movie and things, because it's like, yeah, we want to give other people and introduce new things, and now that we have these new properties, we can build up to a bigger thing, like, you know, bigger fights. We have their fight, we can concentrate on them. We can still acknowledge that the rest of this stuff is like, they have a lot of like playground. They have a lot of ground to play with. Yeah. So
those other guys can make cameos still. Like, there's no reason Iron Man couldn't possibly show up in somebody else's movie for like a second. Whatever. It's not the end of the world. Let's move. There's other characters. It reminds me of like when they were doing X-Men and they had like 50 Logan movies. Like, there's other X-Men out there.
Yeah, Wolverine. Like, as much as I like Wolverine, I don't need a Wolverine all day, every day. Like, god damn it, it's a richer universe. And so yeah, calm down, people. Relax.
Not ruining, because that movie was fucking wonderful from start to finish. Yo.
It was.
It bothers me that we even have to talk about like any negative reaction, because there shouldn't be, because that movie is amazing.
But I mean, at the same time too, I understand, because again, you just know something and don't understand it, you can end up putting yourself in a position of looking stupid like that guy for Huffington Post.
Yo, that dude was out of control.
It's like, you made no sense. You just sound like somebody who was just mad that you didn't get, like somebody told a joke, you didn't get it, so you were just angry the whole night.
Someone save us from this capitalist nightmare. This articles like that is why people don't respect the Huffington Post. I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is true. It is very true. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. If you're still with us with this forecast, appreciate it. If you aren't, appreciate you watching whenever you watch. You're not gonna hear this though, because you turned it off because you didn't want to hear about the goddamn movie. So in any event, we thank you. We're sending like, you know, mental thank you vibes to you somehow.
My vibes are fuck you vibes. Unless you're playing God of War, then you're getting the positive ones.
So there's your book for the week. Play God of War. God damn it. Don't look at it. Don't look at a playthrough. Don't read a study. Don't read a like strategy guide. Don't read any articles. Just play God of War. Okay.
But this is coming from somebody that wasn't like that interested. That shit is awesome.
There you go. Play the goddamn game. Anyway, we're out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll see you next week. And by the way, just be on the lookout for Katina cursing me out on the web after tomorrow. It's Cardiac, because I'm gonna post that particular episode tomorrow. So, fun times. All right, y'all. We're out of here. Peace.